situation that I'm in. Well, I'm bound to sail alone, drowning in my sins. Get right or get left, what will it be?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Loot Bros Podcast. I'm your host, Resident Darrell, and tonight I've got the full panel, all your usual suspects. I mean, we're usually missing Zach, so Zach's not here, but you know that's basically back to square one. We have our gaming gal, Kalai. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. So I ran downstairs to get myself a drink for the toast, and now I realized it's actually, I put it on I have a dresser when you come upstairs. It's on my dresser because I peed first and then forgot about it. So
I thought you were going to say you peed in your drink.
No, but I am drinking ginger ale, which is the same color.
Basically pee. Awesome. All right, we have our good friend. I still don't have a great... what's a great Transformer nickname for you, Matt? The some sort of Decepticon. I mean, Starscream is your boy. What would you?
No, Soundwave is my boy.
Soundwave, Starscream, Soundwave. They're the same thing, right?
They're not.
They're like twins, aren't they?
I feel personally attacked.
Matacon. I'm the Starscream fan.
Matacon.
All hail Starscream!
There you go.
Yeah, like all Starscream people, you're a traitor because you're not here that often.
I was going to just call you Bumblebee earlier, but I was like, I don't know, that's a little on the nose.
I would disconnect immediately.
How you doing, Matt?
Good. I'm trying to determine my purpose here tonight because Zach's not here, so I have to fill in as the backup bearded nerd. And then, you know, listening to the show recently, I feel like I have to come in here as the gaming avatar or Mills Lane and start refereeing this fight between the game pasturbators and the Sony ponies.
It's gotten bad, man. It's gotten bad. Well, the thing is, this is like, if you're on Team Xbox, your leader threw in the towel, essentially. And then if you're on our side, thank you, buddy. Love you.
I got bored. I got one trophy.
Okay, I appreciate it. Love you. Make sure you shut my door. That was Spider Pack's coming in clutch with my Vita. This thing is hot. He's been like cooking on this thing. But yes, if you are Team Xbox, your boy threw in the towel and asked to be fired. Actually, we have a very exclusive special audio segment on our last episode where he reiterated twice the fact that he was like ready to be canned. And then we have our, Xerxes, Mr. Worldwide, the franchise, Jimmy Ryan, over here just being kind and giving us great games and giving us great devices. And he's just like, man, here you go. Here is the world. Enjoy.
Okay. All right. Hold on. So for those who didn't see the Facebook post, I am here to answer the question that Darrell posed on the show a couple weeks ago. How does hearing Phil Spencer say good games don't matter and that they're in third, that they owe us better, how does that make us feel as an Xbox fan? And my response was, it makes me feel like a Sony PS Vita VR2 supporter. And now the Q-Lite Bella Ramsey looking handheld device that Sony's coming out for.
Dang, that was
Jesus,
ugly.
you said Bella Ramsey looking? Come
I am
on, man.
out for blood tonight.
Don't support his Bella Ramsey hatred.
Dude, you know what? It's ugly, but it ain't Bella Ramsey ugly. I mean, it don't get much uglier.
It's uglier than that, Darrell. Come on, man.
You know what? How dare you? How dare you? Speaking of how dare you, how you doing tonight, Mr. T. Diddy?
I am doing wonderful. And Kalai, the best ginger ale in all of America or in all the world is Reed's ginger ale. They actually use real ginger in their ginger ale. Reed's ginger ale. If you haven't had them yet, please go to a expensive store and get that ginger ale. That's a good ginger ale.
Lord.
Oh, I didn't know you swung that way.
Whoa, it's made from real gingers.
I love ginger ale, and that's the best kind. Because Canada Dry actually got sued and finally lost, so they can no longer say that their ginger ale is made with real ginger anymore. They had to take that off their can.
Dude, you know what? T. Diddy, you strike me as the type that would have reported them.
Well, I have Schweppes.
No.
He's judging you.
So
Get Ridge Ginger Ale and you'll be super happy. But I am very happy to be here. I want to give a shout out to all the bros from the Loot Bros, all the bros that are listening right now. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for the few that actually more than a few, a lot actually came over and listened to the Hunter Houston ESG podcast. I appreciate you so much. And thank you for the support. And please keep those emails coming. Thank you so much.
Heck yeah. And then we have No Show Joe, but he's here. How you doing, brother?
I have returned. I'm good.
You look like you're mad. You look like you're sitting in the corner pouting, like you got putting time out earlier.
I'm fucking playing Tears of the Kingdom, and this game.
I see why you're mad. You don't have to say another word. That game is so ugly.
Listen, it's really yellow when you're on some parts, and it's really green when you're on other parts. But other than that, it's beautiful. It's a fucking like modern fucking masterpiece on a system that it doesn't deserve to be able to work on. And it's making my Switch really, really hot, which no other game makes my Switch hot. So this scares me that this starts to like overheat my Switch.
Nice.
I've never had that issue with my Switch. I don't know if anybody else has, but I have never had it like get like super hot in my hands.
Do you remember when the Switch first came out and all the complaints that were that the Switch was bowing because of the heat generated while playing Breath of the Wild?
Yes, I do remember that. I remember that it was cracking people's the vents.
Yep.
Because it was getting so hot, and then they were cooling off, and then the fans were just like cracking. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I'm doing good though. I'm doing good. You know, it's Street Fighter. It's the eve of Street Fighter 6. So
there you go.
I'm excited. I don't have work tomorrow, so.
No, well, I do. I can't join you on that one, but I will say this: my Nintendo Switches have never overheated from Breath of the Wild because I only played for an hour or two. It was so freaking bored that I sold the games.
Honestly, I think they did a lot better job of kind of, I don't know, getting some of that, Tears, the Breath of the Wild stank off the game because they made it a little bit more accessible, I think.
T Diddy looking grumps over there, like, what do you say about what are you talking about, Willie?
Listen, I am not a super duper fan of Breath of the Wild. I think it's a beautiful game. It's a great game. I'm not like, I don't know. I want my old Zelda back. I'm one of those people like yelling at fucking clouds. Like I'm an old man yelling at clouds. Like I do want my old Zelda back.
2 more years.
2 more years for what?
They'll release the anniversary of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess.
He's calling it now, folks.
What? The Switch 2 Electric Boogaloo, or the U Switch with me, or whatever the fuck they're gonna call it. They're gonna call it the Me.
It's coming. It's gonna probably, if anything, man, because they have nothing else in their chamber. They'll probably release it this year, but I'm calling it in 2 years. They should have released it last year, but when they didn't have anything going on, but they decided to screw us and mess with us and then promise us Advance Wars for December and then not give us Advance Wars. And for those who've never played the Advance Wars for the DS or for the Game Boy Advance, those are amazing games.
They're okay. No, they're great. I love Advance Wars, but I really like Dual Strike better, and I wish we would have got Dual Strike instead of this. I like Dual Strike.
That's a Yu-Gi-Oh thing, right?
No, that's the stupid naming convention of that's the stupid naming convention of the Nintendo DS. It's like Dual Strike. There was another one. Oh man, there's like 1,000 examples. Like the Street Fighter 1 had a DS title with the words
Street Fighter.
Street Fighter 4. There was
Street Fighter.
Street Fighter 4 is one of the best fighting games of all time, man.
The game's hard as
I love it.
It is awesome. It is definitely better than Street Fighter 5, which is just a mess.
Trash.
It's a mess. It's not trash. It's a mess, though. It's a very big mess.
And their net code was such bullcrap, man. The net code for 6 is so much better from playing the alpha and playing the beta.
I agree. I'm excited. I'm excited.
I got a question about the beta, boys. Did you master the beta?
All day and all night.
All right. This is the Loot Bros podcast, guys. Each and every week we get together, talk about video games. And tonight we have a excellent, I think, some would say, one of the best topics we could ever have. We're getting ready to have a whole bunch of guests coming on the show. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to have something a little evergreen, something that can last. It's not news and topical. We were just talking about how the franchise worldwide, Jimmy Ryan's been laying the smack down on Rudy Poo, Phil Spencer, and all the little X-Twats. And so I wanted to come on here and just have a conversation about games across all the platforms. This is a platform agnostic conversation. Okay. It maybe will lean one way or the other. I mean, there's only really, 2 consoles out of the 3 that really put out games, technically. But hey, we're going to reach back into the annals of history. We're going to talk about old games, talk about games on different platforms. And tonight's charge was for each host to bring 3 to 5 games to the table that they think the other members of the panel might not have played. Maybe they missed them. Maybe they weren't on their radar. And our job is to present a sales pitch, an argument to say, hey, this game is really worth checking out, and here's why. Maybe it's a mini review. Maybe it's 5 words or less saying this game is good. But before we do that, let's get into our toast. Each and every week, we like to crack open a toast to our Patreon producers for the month of May. We're ending up the month of May. We got, my name is Mayo. I almost said my name is Matic for whatever reason. I don't even know who a freaking Matic is. I guess that's Mayo and Satic together. So we have, my name is Mayo. We have Satic. We have MZ Nitro. And we have Starscream himself. We have Matt G. Thank you so much, guys, for all your support.
Oh, and this one's for Tricky.
I can't toast to the name Starscream. I'll to the other guys.
All hail Starscream!
It's a good thing
Usurper.
Tricky hasn't made it onto this post after all the shit talking we've been doing about him.
All hell,
that'd be good.
cons.
All hail. There you go.
Oh wait, Tricky was in last place, right? So we can talk mad shit about him, right? That's the way it works.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right. And what about the
What a clown ass
special-
drive turkey.
Did you just call him a JT? Not our JT. That's a what was that movie? That Will Ferrell movie? It's not old school. It was Semi-Pro. No, was it Semi-Pro? Was that the basketball movie?
Yeah.
It's like call him a JT, a jive turkey. Yes. Tricky is the official loser. Now we did get a little bit of back and forth throughout the Discord and throughout the Facebook. A couple people reached out and they said, hey, we don't know that you got your points right. Maybe something was missed. Maybe something was maybe not the way it was said and the way it was written down. Maybe they didn't quite correlate, because apparently, Joe, there's a little bit of pushback that you get points for saying PlayStation will announce games that show up on PC. And there were multiple games that are coming out to PlayStation and PC. As a matter of fact, some of these live service games are coming to both. There he is. There's Trickymic.
All right, you son of a bitch. It's time for the reckoning. Darrell, I cannot believe that you would do me so dirty.
Doing the best I can with what I got.
All right, so now, as I said on the show, like I believe you just made some judgment errors. Like, I don't think you did anything malicious. So let's just be clear with that. But I get accused of not making these contests fun or overanalyzing things and whatnot.
Always needing concessions.
Right. And you will agree that when we did the predictions, I brought up the idea of an independent guy to make the results and make the decisions, because not that I didn't think you were going to be biased, but that you were going to look at things differently than an independent person was, because you were involved in the contest.
Okay.
So, with that being said, do you agree that we should have had an independent guy now?
No.
I knew you were going to say that.
Here's the thing, Tricky. I having a third party do it makes things great. But then there always comes that little thing. And if I had to dig into the annals of my phone, I would be able to see where, there's been times where you and I have been like, man, these people are always out to get me. Everything I do, people are trying to troll me. So even if we had a third party auditor, I believe that you would still, feel like you got shafted.
Well, okay. I don't feel like I got shafted, because let's just be real from the start. I don't think I won, but there are arguments to be made that it was actually a 5-way tie.
Oh, that ain't. Well, yeah, it is. You're good.
Okay, so but I'm not going to say I won. Like, that's not what this is about. This is just me keeping you honest and real, and if I got to pay up to somebody, then we're going to pay, I'm going to pay up to the right person. So
okay,
let's start with Zach. Okay.
Okay.
So what I did was I went back between the two shows and I took the results and I took the predictions and whatnot, and I separated them into two. But with Zach wasn't on either show. Well, he was on the result show, but his predictions were from they were done offline. So you read his predictions and his results at the same time.
Right.
All right. So let's start with Zach. Here's the audio.
Zach, your first prediction was the God of War Ragnarok sequel will be announced. Unfortunately, that is not correct. That did not happen. I'm a little surprised. I thought there might be a little God of War left in the tank.
Yeah.
So that one. Next, you said new Bungie IP, and brother, you nailed it.
Ding, 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 ding. I was waiting on it.
No, he did not.
So I heard rumors that Marathon existed, but that one I did not expect to see there. So that was pretty cool.
So
You said, pause it for a second. You said no, he did not what?
Okay, so that's where Zach, I think, is wrong, because his prediction was a new Bungie IP.
Okay.
Marathon is not a new IP. It's a revisit of an old game. Now, if his prediction had said Bungie is going to do a different game other than Destiny, he would have been accurate.
Okay, I don't disagree, because whatever this new Marathon is some sort of amalgamation of the old Marathon, but the old Marathon, that's like pre-Xbox. It's not a real thing anymore.
But
and new is subjective, because he didn't say brand new. It could be new to you. It could be new to me. Newly experienced.
Okay, see, you're doing what I always get accused of. Nitpicking.
I'm just saying.
No. His prediction was new IP. It is not a new IP. It's a different game from Bungie, but it's not a new IP. So
that would mean, if we're going to play on those words, we can't use the word new without being specific, because if is it new different? Is it brand new? Is it new to you?
Now,
it's new.
I will concede that I never heard of Marathon before.
Mm-hmm.
So when it was announced, I thought it was a new IP. But upon research and news reports, it found out it was not a new IP. It was just a new game in that series. And they even said it's not a direct sequel, but it's in that universe. So you can't even say, like, okay, this is a whole new game. This is still an established property that was done. I mean, granted, it was back in the 90s. Don't get me wrong. Like,
right.
We're going back years, but it's not a new IP. So my argument is, you gave him a full point. If anything, you give him a half a point, not a full point, but I believe he shouldn't get a point at all.
I think that I would concede to a half, but he's got to get something, because it's not Bungie. And, when you think Destiny, you got to think of it in context of what we know. Or excuse me, Bungie. And it's not Destiny. I think I said this too backwards, but you know what I mean? It's not Destiny. When you think in the context of Bungie, only thing they've done in our, I want to say recent memory. I'm talking like Bungie's on the map because of Halo and Destiny, and Destiny's been their live service thing. And so I think that it can't. I can't back down the fact that it's got to count. If it's only counting for a half point, I'm fine with that. But it's got to count. It's new IP, even if it's not brand new, freshly. I'm saying new bun in the oven IP.
All right. So by your calculation, you gave him 2 points. So now that knocks him down to 1.5.
Maybe. I think. I think there should be. I stand by the fact it's a new IP, but I see what you're saying.
All right, we're gonna go there. Okay, now we're gonna move on to Joe's results.
All right, let's see. No Show Joe. He got Spider-Man, and I actually. I don't have a note on what his second prediction was. Oh, no, it was out in August. That was the second half. I already put on there it was a half point. So Joe got a half point for Spider-Man. It is not out in August. It is October, I believe, right? Is that what it said?
I don't think they mentioned, did they?
It was fall.
I don't remember. It didn't say. It's definitely not August. So his second prediction was that Factions would be revealed and it would be coming out in October. So another one for Factions and another one bites the dust. He says PlayStation announces a new game on PC. Now, they said they had multiple times where games were going to release on PS5 and on PC. So in my opinion, he gets a point. What do you guys think?
Man, it was really broad, though.
It was a very broad, safe answer.
Wow, I got close with the classics, and we're going to give him a point on the broadest answer ever.
Yeah, but yours was very specific to how the classics were going to exist.
Gryffindor.
So, granted, they didn't announce anything specifically for PC. There were,
and that's the point right there. His prediction was one of two games was going to come to PC. I asked him to dial it down to be more, direct with it, because he was flip-flopping between two games. And he said his prediction was PlayStation's going to announce a game is coming to PC.
And they did 3 games.
No, his intention, his spirit was it was going to be a first-party game.
But he didn't say that. He just said...
Oh, no, he didn't say that. But PlayStation did not announce a game was coming to PC. They said it was coming to PlayStation and PC, but that's not what his prediction was. His prediction was PlayStation was going to announce a previously established game was coming to PC.
But he didn't say previously established. He just said that it's going to be PlayStation's going to announce that a game's coming to PC, and they did 3 times.
Okay, so here's my thing: is the rest of the panel awarded him half a point? Mm-hmm. You wanted to give him a full point. So even if I was there for that show to give my vote, I would have said no points and I would have been outvoted. But I don't believe he should have gotten a half a point at all, because that's not what his prediction was. That's nitpicking. I'm fully saying that I would have been outvoted. I'm fine with it. But to me, that was also wrong. He should have gotten no points, because the spirit of the prediction was that they were going to announce a previously announced game was coming to PC. That did not happen.
So I read his prediction, knowing Joe, podcasting with Joe fairly often,
right?
That they're just, hey, they're going to talk games, and one of the games they're going to talk about is going to be announced for PC, and that's exactly what happened. There were 3 games specifically that had the PlayStation PC logos on there.
All right. So now we're going to move on here, okay? Because I got to admit, because it's been 3 days since I put these together, I don't remember which ones are which. So I'm looking over. So these might be a little bit out of order, but I'm sure the arguments are going to be valid once I hear it again. All right. So I have something labeled Darrell 1. So this is your first prediction.
Okay. We're gonna sit there and everyone's gonna be like, okay, this is the part of the show where we see Hideo Kojima, because we know Death Stranding 2's coming. But no. Instead of the Death Stranding 2 that you would expect, okay, we're gonna see Hideo Kojima, but then we're also gonna see the Metal Gear logo, because they're gonna announce the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, and they're working with Kojima on it.
Okay, so they announced a remake, but Kojima, they later came out. They didn't announce it during the show, but they announced that Kojima has nothing to do with it.
Correct.
Okay, so we're agreeing on that so far.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Darrell 5. This is your 5th prediction.
So I'm thinking here's my official prediction, okay? Capcom is going to give an update on a previously announced title.
You were thinking
whether that's Pragmata or Exoprimal, I'm not saying. I'm just saying they're going to bring it up, and then they're going to have a Dino Crisis remake splash screen.
That did not happen.
Correct.
Okay. I don't know why I put that one up. All right. So now,
it was a dang good prediction.
I might have capped the wrong one there. All right, but here's your results. And just for everybody knows, this is 3 minutes long.
All right, next up is yours truly, Resident Darrell. I said that a MGS3 remake would be announced, and it would be with Hideo Kojima. Unfortunately, Kojima was nowhere to be found on this particular show, so that was a half a point for me. By the way, Joe got a total of 1.5 points. Got a half point for Spider-Man, half point for the PlayStation on PC, half point for MGS remake on being announced. So I'm back to me. So my second prediction was that a Silent Hill 2 remake would be announced. And it's already announced, but it would have a date for October. That didn't happen. They didn't show Silent Hill 2 at all.
Yeah, that's a shame.
I said there'd be a brand new IP from Sony Bend. That also did not happen. I said there would be a Bloodborne remaster or a PC port. That also did not happen. I said a Capcom update on previously announced title. Then Dino Crisis remake splash screen. Neither of those happened.
Technically, with was it Dragon's Dogma? Dragon's Dogma. It kind of happened.
Well, but they hadn't previously announced it. So Dragon's Dogma 2 was leaked in that NVIDIA leak, right? A year or two ago. But there has been no official Dragon's Dogma 2 announcement. And so Capcom, if you want to talk about somebody who's just locked and ready to go, they just dropped Resident Evil 4 Remake. They just finished up the Resident Evil Village VR mode and the DLC, Shadow of Rose. Then they said, hey, we're knocking out the Resident Evil 4 Remake VR mode. Okay. They've just put out DLC and all kinds of stuff for Monster Hunter Rise, that Sunbreak and all that stuff. They announced Pragmata.
What's the matter?
And then they're like, oh, by the way,
what's the matter with you?
Yeah, see, there you go, racist. And then now they come out after they're like, by the way, we got Street Fighter 6 going, and then oh, by the way, Dragon's Dogma 2. Like Capcom is firing on all cylinders. Capcom's always been my favorite developer, but good God, man, they are just really just putting the pedal to the metal. So maybe in a strange turn of events, Capcom buys Xbox for Microsoft, and they own them. How about that? How about that for a merger and acquisition, nerds? All right, so unfortunately, no, that one did not count for any kind of points. And then my wild pie in the sky was the Q Lite would be officially revealed, half a point, and you'd be able to download games natively. The only thing that was said about downloading games natively was to the PS5. And although I would love to argue and say I meant that, no, unfortunately, my intentions were that it would be downloaded natively to the Q Lite, not to the console. So half point for me. So that brings me to a grand total of 1 point.
All right, Darrell, I'm going to flip the script on you.
Okay.
I think you should be awarded a half point.
Half point.
Because you said part of your prediction was that Capcom would give us an update on a previously announced title.
Okay.
We got a story trailer update on Street Fighter 6.
You know, you're right. I didn't even, I completely disregarded that one.
So my opinion is your prediction was that Capcom was going to give us an update on the previously announced title, and it was either going to be Pragmata, blah, blah, blah. The Pragmata stuff was wrong. But we did get an update on the previously announced title, so you should be awarded another half point.
Yeah. I'll take that. Actually, it's crazy is no one on the panel caught that either. No one, and T-Bone, freaking T Diddy, he's like big on Street Fighter, but yeah, that one went completely on the radar. I was so persuasive with Pragmata and Dino Crisis that completely blanked everyone's brains, my own included.
So my opinion is you got a point and a half. So
okay.
You're now tied with Joe.
Cool. I'll take it.
All right. See, I told you this wasn't gonna be all negative. I'm a fair judge. All right. So now we get to the crux of where you screwed me over.
Okay.
All right. So here's my third prediction. We get an official announcement on that rumored PlayStation handheld.
The Q Lite.
Yes. It is not going to be called Vita 2. That's not part of my predictions.
Okay.
It's not going to be called the Vita 2, but we're going to get an official announcement of it, but we're not going to get any details as far as a release date or a price point or anything like that.
Okay. I think that's a good one.
So if they announce details, I only get a half point. All right. So that was my prediction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is you giving up my results.
All right, next up, we're going to read out Trickymic. Now, Trickymic was trying to be here tonight, but unfortunately, he had to work, and where he's working, he could not access the internet tonight. So he tried to be here, but his first prediction was that Sony Ben is going to show their new game, and it's going to be Days Gone 2.
That did not happen.
Unfortunately, that did not happen. And I could go for a little more Deacon St. John on a motorbike.
So could we all.
Next up, he said Factions would be shown, and it would be revealed that it's coming out in August. Neither of those happened.
Nope.
His third prediction was that an official announcement for the Q Lite would happen. That happened, and no real details, but it would play physical media. Now, technically, that's 3 parts, and we said we were only going to give 2, but unfortunately, the second half negates the first.
Because his last 2 points weren't true. They gave details.
Right. They did give some details. They didn't give a ton of details. We don't know if they're going to play. They're not. It's definitely not going to play physical media because it said it's a dedicated streaming device. We don't know if you're going to be able to play like PS4 games or small games downloaded onto it because they didn't announce any real detail on the hardware. The only thing we got was that games streamed from PS5 have to be downloaded on the PS5.
Which is details.
No, that's not details.
That's details.
Hold on. I said they would not release any details as far as a release date or a price point. They did not give us any details. And because I knew you were going to do this, okay? Because I knew you were going to do this, I got a further receipt.
All right, go for it.
All right, so my wild pie in the sky prediction, okay, is that the Q Lite is revealed officially, and it is not just a streaming device. It is actually the Vita successor that we all wanted, and it will play games natively. Now, it will not carry a memory card cartridge type game. It will be a digital only handheld, but you'll be able to download your PSN games, PS4 games, and stream your PS5 games to it. So the Q Lite is more than just a wireless, just a streaming handheld.
Now watch. So you're taking my normal prediction, and making it your crazy prediction.
Yeah, because I think it's going to. The crazy part is that it's going to it's going to be able to play games natively.
Just watch. You're going to try to rope me in, and I'm going to clarify. Well, all right. I mean, that's basically what I said too, but it's not.
No, he's saying it's getting its own. Are you saying it's getting its own library?
No. It's just that, okay, so the rumors are that the Q Lite, the new PlayStation handheld, it's just strictly a streaming only device, that it will not have the ability to play games natively offline. It has to be streamed, right?
It has to be online at all times.
Right. Like,
at all times?
Yeah, like remote play, like not even just streaming randomly throughout the world, like on via like internet, like it's like a remote play device. That's what the rumors are.
It's going to connect to your PS5, basically.
Right. What I'm saying is the Q Lite is going to be officially revealed, and it will have the ability to download games and play them natively.
Okay, motherfuckers better announce like PlayStation Cloud or something like that because they don't have the infrastructure to do that.
Well, so like right now, this entire time we've been playing, okay. The entire time we've been podcasting. So we're podcasting on the internet. Okay, we're doing video, so it's using more bandwidth. Above me is a 55-inch TV streaming.
All right, I'm going to lower it again.
Some stupid vampire movie with Jamie Foxx on it.
To
my left is my PS5.
Change my prediction,
streaming straight to my phone and my Kishi Nickelodeon All Stars. So, and I have had zero lag, zero issue, and I'm playing a Smash Bros. Clone. So the remote play functionality is solid on the PS5, and I do it all the time now with almost no issue. The thing is, I want to be able to leave my house with this game on it instead of being tethered to my PS5.
All right.
Good luck with that.
To be clear, that's basically what I said before. I just didn't use as many words as Darryl.
Attention now, Darryl.
So you're saying that you think it's going to be able to download stuff natively as well as not just a streaming device?
We're going to get essentially the Vita 2, but it's not going to be called the Vita 2. You know, it's going to have its own games. It's going to be able to put cartridges in or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
I'm saying it's basically going to be the Vita 2, but it's not going to be called the Vita 2.
They will never, ever, ever, ever make another handheld with its own dedicated library.
Now, your actual prediction was the official announcement for it, but no real details. So we're killing the no real details, and we're saying it will play with cartridges?
No. I'm okay.
Pay attention.
My official prediction is it's going to get announced. We're not going to get a release date. We're not going to get a price point.
Okay.
But when I say no real details, I mean we're not going to get anything solid.
Time and date, right? But it will. But you're saying it will play physical media.
They're going. But essentially, when you look at it, all expectations are going to be that this is the Vita 2, but they're not actually going to say that.
Right.
The rumor, like they're going to say, we're making another handheld. Here's a picture of it, and that's it. And then
boom,
the internets are going to go out.
But you said
no, boom. I never said
like the Vita 2. You tap danced after I made you clarify around the physical media thing because that would be a real detail. And then what they did was the opposite. They said that no, the real details are games have to be downloaded to your console. That is crucial because that tells you right there.
But they never actually
not going to do the other.
Okay, that is true. But they never actually said that. And my official prediction was
it was written on the slide on the picture.
My official prediction was it was going to get announced. They were going to show it. We were not going to get a price point. We were not going to get a release date. And there was not going to be any real details. And that is exactly what happened. That you tried to add the physical media part, and you could hear you typing in the audio of you changing my prediction. That is a full point for me. Not a half point. That is a full point because I was entirely accurate. Nothing about what I said was wrong. I deserve a full point. You awarded me a half point. Nobody argued it. There was no real details given. I said it would be shown. We would not get a price point. We would not get a release date. And I said they would show it and the internet would go crazy. And that's exactly what happened. I deserve my full point.
But you said no real details.
There was no real details.
The real detail was that it says games have to be downloaded natively to your PS5. That is huge because that confirms that it is not what you said. It's not the true successor to the Vita 2. It will not play physical media. That it just is a streaming device. That is the detail.
I wholeheartedly disagree because I said it would essentially look like the successor to the Vita, but they would not call it the Vita 2. And I said they would show it and the internets would go crazy. And that's exactly what happened. I deserve my half point. I deserve a full point. You cannot wiggle your way out of this one, Darryl. I was entirely accurate.
Except for the part where they gave the real details.
What detail did they give?
That games have to be downloaded to your PS5, thus not to the handheld itself. No. Therefore, it will not be exactly what you just said that tape.
You're doing exactly what I get accused of.
That's very open and closed book right there. Okay. You said this will be the Vita 2. You said it's going to play physical media or whatever, which is very general, but I would allow it. And then what they did was they said, here's the graphic, here's the picture, here's what it is. By the way, all the games had to be downloaded to the PS5 because this is, as Jimmy Ryan said, a dedicated streaming device. So therefore, what the only concession I would give
is everybody listening to him backpedal right now.
The only concession I would give is that maybe there's still time for them to say something can be downloaded natively or played on whatever. But that is a very, very, to me, that was the biggest detail. That was like, ugh, this is a dedicated streaming device. That's not what I want.
Okay.
But I'm going all in.
I know that I'll lose this because I lose all polls, but I think we should put this up to I think we should bring this up to the panel and ask them, because I think you're making a judgment call, which I don't hate. I don't hate that you're making a judgment call, because I'm not going to tell you how you feel. But I think you're wrong in this, in the fact that you're putting too much stock into that compared to what I said.
I mean, it is a pretty important thing. But here's what I'll say. So what you said earlier was it would be a 5-way tie essentially if you get your full point.
Well, because I think if you take away the half point from Darrell,
then
he drops down to a point. If you take away the point from
Zach takes a half away from Zach.
Well, originally I said I would take away the full point because it wasn't a new IP, but I conceded and said it should be a half point.
Okay, gotcha.
So the way I look at the results right now, the way I have the results, you, Darrell, you, Joe, and Zach all have 1.5 points. And me, T. Diddy, we both have 1 point. That's the way I look at it.
Gotcha. There's still no clear winner, though.
There's no clear winner and there's no clear loser.
Gotcha.
Okay. That's just the way I feel. I know your community is going to feel differently, but
I think that the fact that you put in this much effort, this much work,
I deserve at least a half point.
You get a point for effort. I think it's great. I think this was awesome. I think that like playing the clips, I mean, that like people don't understand that took so much time.
Yes, it did.
for you to do that. And then, we're still not done yet because we still got to edit. So I will 1000% leave this one up to the community. I think personally that was a clear enough detail, but I could see, because it was a detail more about the PS5, not so much the Q Lite, that how you could skate on that one. So let's leave it to the community. We'll edit this episode. We'll let it all go live. We'll let everybody listen to it, and we'll put a poll out, and we'll just see what everybody says. And I would ask that anyone listening be honest, don't be a troll. Don't be funny. Let's just see, because this is fun. At the end of the day, the whole purpose of this and the reason why so much work has gone into it, and this is one of the things I love about you, Tricky, because my
pride is on the line.
you lean into this stuff at to your detriment. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, you know what? I'm dying on this sword. This is the day that Trickymic says no more. But we wanted to add stakes to what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? And this, because the idea I have is this is like an Impractical Jokers kind of thing, right? So like we do these prediction episodes, and then whenever people lose, they have to do something funny or embarrassing.
Here, there's two more things I want to bring up before we close out the show. This is not directed to the results, but just in overall competition. I think I don't want to sound conceited when I say this, but I consider us to be the leaders of our shows.
Our respective shows, yep.
Right. So I think, like, when it comes to contests and stuff like this, we got to set some ground rules.
Okay.
So the first one I want to address is, you said on the results show that you were willing to give Joe and Zach points in the future if their predictions come true. I think that's got to be negated right off the start. It didn't happen during the show. You don't get points in a future contest for something that came true after the show. The whole premise of the prediction show was you were awarded on points of what was announced during the show, not after the show.
Okay.
So that's got to be negated. You can't give points in future contests for that. Are we in agreement on that?
I can go either way. I don't care. To me, it's one of those things to where I'm not married to it either way.
All right. And the second thing that I want to bring up is we have to set some standards for the predictions, because, and I'm not hating on them, but Joe got his points off of very safe predictions, stuff that we knew was coming. Stuff like Metal Gear Solid 3 is getting announced. Spider-Man was going to be shown. Everybody in the world, including yourself on the show, said that that's a very safe prediction. I think when it comes to these prediction shows, we need to set some standards and say, You can't just go for the easy points. You have to stick your neck on the line for something. I would argue that you and Zach, who I think are tied for the win, deserve the win more than Joe does because Joe's predictions were all safe. You guys actually stuck your necks out on some predictions and got the points. I think we got to set standards on what qualifies as a prediction.
Again, it's one of those things to where I want it to be fun and enjoyable. So like, I mean, I will do that and I will do what I think is the honorable thing, but I'm not going to invite people onto the show and tell them how they have to play the game. You know, like it's a strategy thing and it's at the end of the day, it's supposed to be for fun. So if somebody comes on, they're like, I just want to play it safe. Well, playing it safe felt like The Last of Us Factions. Playing it safe felt like, you know, Ghost of Tsushima 2. Now, granted, Spider-Man seemed like to be the safest answer, which is why I didn't say it. And I acknowledge that. But I think at the end of the day, bringing people on saying, hey, this is how you have to play. I personally don't want to do that, especially because like we had, for the review show, the review the prediction show, we had Will from the PlayStation Collectors Podcast come on. And before the show happened, I knew he was coming on. So I reached out and I was like, hey, give me your guesses. And he said specifically, well, dude, things are already kind of rumoring. He goes, so I feel like it's unfair for me to put in predictions now. He's like, and I was like, you know what? That's a very honorable thing to say. I was like, put in your predictions. If you want to play safe, play safe. I was like, or go get wild and get nuts. And so he kind of just, put them out there. And I thought that, by doing so, I mean, he didn't play super safe. So it was good. I think that it's people who, I'll put it like this. If you hyper focus and you want to, I don't want to say cheat to win, but if your whole big thing is you got to win this event, sorry, man. If this is what you need in life, go for it.
See, here's where I hold down the distinction between the two predictions between Safe Factions and Spider-Man. We knew Spider-Man was imminent. We knew it was coming. We knew it was coming this year. We have no real details on Factions. So to say that Spider-Man is going to be shown when we know it's coming out this year, I think is much safer over Factions because Spider-Man almost felt like a guarantee to be showed. Factions was a maybe. They really need to start pushing this prediction. That's where I'm saying we need to be a little safe. I think safe predictions are good, but when it's almost guaranteed, like everybody on the show knew it was going to be, I think those kind of predictions need to be tailored down, or at least add some points to it, or add some boiler points to it, so you're not just getting a free point. You have to break down to a half point or, a quarter point or whatever the case may be. I will accept the decision of the panel, whatever the consensus is. That's fine with me. But I think in this case, especially with this showcase, Spider-Man was too easy of a prediction to make to get a point.
Well, that's just like your opinion, man. I'm just kidding. But no, the only prediction I vetoed was Mortal Kombat because they announced it on Twitter like the day before.
Right.
So, all right. But outside of that, yeah, I'm not. I'm not going to govern people's answers. I want to be fun, and if you're going to play it safe, I'm going to try to play it wild and win on a wild one.
Well, I mean, and let's give a little behind the scenes here, Darrell. When you came to me and you said that you wanted my predictions, didn't I not say to you it'd be kind of unfair for me to do it because I kind of knew some things were going to get talked about?
There you go. And what I tell you, I was like, hey, if you know it, go for it. I mean,
I didn't do that. And I mean, arguably right now I'm in last place, even though I should be tied for last place with T Diddy. But we're gonna.
Well, here's the thing. Let's say you're tied in last place, right? What are we doing for the tiebreaker? We got to have something.
Well, then we also have the question of what we do for the three people at the top.
Yeah, we need to do it. It's almost like we got to have something to break it up.
I say the first person to get the Bird Eye Paradise Platinum.
I haven't even started that game.
Well, I'm saying that only because I got the Platinum last night.
Okay. You're part of that boost group?
Well, funny story, and they're gonna tell this on Trophy Horse, but there was a trophy for getting eight players in the Wildcat Stadium. That when they started up this boost group, I said, "Oh, I need that trophy. Let's do it." We get to the stadium. all 8 players come in, everybody gets a trophy. I don't get my trophy. I'm like, what the hell, man? I go into PSN profiles. I had the trophy 3 years ago.
Oh, don't you love that?
I'm like, how did I not know I had this trophy for 3 years? Anyway, this is getting a little long-winded, a little longer than I thought it was going to go. Well, let's wrap this up. So like Darrell said, and I'm not trying to take over your show or anything.
No, this is your segment, man. This is something that you worked hard for.
But Darrell said we're going to leave it up to community. Please decide whether or not I deserve my half point. I believe I do. Darrell is on the fence. We'll leave it up to the community. Like Darrell said, give us your honest opinions. Don't troll. Don't do anything. If you legit think that I deserve my half point, please vote. If you don't, please vote that way. Like I said, don't troll. Like I know somebody's going to come in and say Call of Duty Ghost. Like that's just your community.
Yeah.
JT's probably going to come in and say poop sock.
Oh yeah, he's saying it right now.
Good old. This is the only way I can talk to JT because he blocked me on Facebook.
He'll come back.
Oh, he said he's going to come back at the end of the year once the rarity contest is over. Anyway, but all jokes aside, like this was fun to put together because I knew, like me and you know, 1-on-1, we're gonna have some banter. And I knew you were going to try to still screw me after I brought not 1, but 2 receipts of me proving I was right.
You did good. I'm proud of you.
All right, so let's wrap this up. Thank you everybody for listening. I don't know if this is going to begin the beginning of the show.
I'm gonna put it in there, like in the segment to where you and I were talking,
right?
Because there's a part in the show where I come back and I say, hey, you and I got together and we had this conversation. I'll put it in there to where it makes sense.
All right. So with that in case, you guys enjoy the rest of the show. I was acting the fool on the show, but you did. It was all in fun. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. I want to cut back in here real fast. We're going to jump right back into the conversation for the actual show. This piece that you just heard is obviously Tricky and I coming in after the fact and having the conversation and bringing the receipts and going over the conference results. We want to know your opinions. We want you to write into the Loot Bros podcast. I'm going to put a poll in the Facebook group and in the Discord and on Patreon. How successful I'll be at those, I don't know. I'm a little tech illiterate at times, but I'm going to put the polls out there. Let us know who you think the true winner and loser is, or what you want us to do for a tiebreaker, because we got to have stakes. Someone's got to get pranked. That being said, we're going to cut back into the show. And from this point on, I want to forewarn everybody, trigger warning, it gets wild. Joe and Tricky go at it basically the rest of the evening. It gets Jerry Springer-ish. So we hope you enjoy. Gareth is actually the only person from the community that actually wrote in full-on, legit, really good predictions. Therefore, we have to crown Gareth the champion.
Hold on. Gareth was not the only community member to send in something. Zach sent something in too. Come on, let's give Zach credit.
I know Zach tried to send something in after the fact and win. Like he was fucking there at the show. He's like,
yeah, Zach is a community member.
Okay, ass.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. Thanks for not being here tonight.
Might as well be a community member. He doesn't show up anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
So are we officially demoting him to community member? Is that what's happening?
Okay, got to step in. That's why I'm here tonight. Listen, I am here to defend when people need to be defended. Zach has had some legit reasons for not showing up, and I want to wish Zach and Amber a happy anniversary. I want to wish Zach and Amber a happy anniversary tonight and hope they're enjoying their night.
You know what? Happy anniversary, to Gareth and Katie, because they're having an anniversary too. But you know what Gareth is doing?
He's in Greece.
He's playing his freaking Vita. He's getting trophies for our competition we're in. So there's no excuse, Zach. You should have had your anniversary plans ironed out before tonight. I'm just saying. You know? What do I do? I give you guys a year in advance on my anniversary. I told you guys when I brought you onto the show, hey, October 19th, whatever that weekend is before or after, I'm not going to be here. No surprises. But here we are. And it's like I asked everybody ahead of time. I was like, hey, guys, who's going to be here this week? Give you the opportunity to bail. Zach's the first one to respond.
Hey, speaking of the community, I mean, you said the community wrote in, right?
Yes.
Well, I mean, We can't have the community write in without.
Time to check my
Fucking hate this shit. Why? Like, why? Like,
He's in your corner, Joe. You have to like it now.
fuck, man.
Which, by the way, at the end of the month, I'm not going to be here for 2 weeks as I celebrate my anniversary.
For 2 weeks?
I mean,
Shit.
isn't that pretty normal though?
Ouch.
I'll be bow-legged, but
Whoa. It's just TMI.
Well, I was going to ask what you're playing, Kalai, but obviously the Tweaking Berries is the answer.
Did everybody's mic just cut out? I can't hear anything anymore.
I'm deaf.
no,
I'm deaf.
we're actually going to Europe.
Oh, you're going to go
For
see
anniversary.
Gareth and
I'm
Rick.
going to Spain, Italy, and France. So
Oh,
anybody in our community that knows some great restaurants over there, let me know.
You get to see the Queen, right? Everyone's faces.
That took her a little too long to figure out. I'm sorry. That just took a little too long for her to figure out.
Those are fucked up.
That's too soon.
Every British person on this podcast that listens to this podcast just went, "Yo, that's fucked up." Kalai's looking
Well,
like,
technically,
"Am I gonna get it?"
there-
They start
Kalai's
yelling,
looking like,
"Bang." They start yelling.
So here's
no
a
Queen.
real question. All right, we have a fair amount of European listeners. I would actually, I've never asked. Did you guys like the Queen? I mean, let's not.
I thought you waited for response.
I'm Irish, and I don't give a shit about the fucking British.
Because, like, here's the thing: over here in America, we always hate our leaders. Like, everyone pretends to like them until they're elected, and then they're elected. Like, what's this freaking idiot doing? Like, this is, and because at the end of the day, they don't answer for anything. And anybody who ever said I supported this person spends the rest of their adult life answering for whatever boneheaded decisions they make. So,
I mean, that's like Trump. You know, he was a good guy until he got elected. All of a sudden, he's a racist homophobe.
I know, right? I was like,
All of a sudden, yeah.
yeah.
Just turn
I
on
can't
the light.
hear them.
How many times did he get friggin' awards in the 80s for all he did for the black community? But the minute he was a public official, that
Time
dude's
out.
a racist.
He could
Time out. Kalai, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I was going to say, man, I grew up in Cape May, which is Atlantic City. I wouldn't put that much far. I wouldn't put that much faith in him.
But I'm not saying he's a cool dude to like go hang out with. I'm just saying nobody called him a racist until he was.
No, absolutely not. That was not on the radar until it was against the. But again, that's the way it is, though. Because
Let's get back on topic of talking about how much we hate the British because we're no longer their subjects, and
Listen,
that
but
the
we
fact
don't,
is
because
we're a
we
bunch of
worship like
scumbags.
Yeah, but then we worship like the Vanderpumps and fucking we worship like the Queen. Like
is a Vanderpump?
I don't worship those clowns.
We
They're
care
not
more
my
about the
heroes.
Queen. We care more about the Queen in our country than they did in theirs.
What
When
the
she
fuck?
died.
Wait a second. Wait a sec. You know what I
she
care
does
about?
sell a lot of magazines. I'm just saying.
You know what I care
She might
about?
not even be
Video
British,
games.
though. Who knows?
Can we
Dude,
go
what
back
if
to
she's
video games?
Australian?
Who fucking cares?
Time's up. Politics over. Back to video games.
Joe, I got a question. What the fuck is a Vanderpump?
What's an Australian?
Some terrible ass show.
Someone for the first time ever turned this show on. They're like, what is going on? What in the world are these idiots talking about?
You mean somebody besides me actually tried to restore order on this show?
Yeah, that's right. Well, see, so the problem is this. Matt announced his position ahead of time. He said, I'm coming in to restore order. And immediately I attacked the Queen.
Well,
why? I don't know.
Give everybody their 30 seconds, and then you know what? Time to move on to the next subject.
I can go twice and clean up in 30. So don't you tempt me with a good time.
What are you, like the Loot Bros bailiff now?
Somebody has to fucking be because none of you all are.
Listen, this is what people pay to come see. This is why fucking people Patreon. Like they want to see this nonsense for 6 hours.
How much do you pay for Patreon to this show?
Oh, nothing, because I'm on it.
Yeah.
Why the hell? Why would I do Patreon for the show?
I'm the only paying person here for the Patreon.
I'm also. Me, you, and Tricky, we're all paying members of the Patreon.
And Joe, in response to your question, why would you be a Patreon? It's funny that I'm on more of the Loop Brothers Patreon episodes than you ever have been.
Dang. I was blown away. Hey, I'm a paying member of our Patreon. You know what I do with that subscription? I actually give it out to people. Just thought I'd let you guys know that that's something that I do.
And Matt, I know you're here to restore order. I mean, is it possible you could actually restore Zelda to a good game?
Hey, Tricky, how long have you played Tears of the Kingdom?
Total, maybe 2 hours.
Yeah, let me know when you actually put some real time into that game. Then we'll hear your thoughts.
That's all you need to know if the game sucks or not. I'm just saying.
Not even
What is this? Levi, 15 minutes, best game of the world?
Hey, it's masterpiece.
No, I would put more time in the game, but I keep getting stuck in areas because they decided to put cliffs that you can't.
Tricky. 10 million copies sold.
What?
That just means there's 10 million suckers born.
10 million copies sold. You're the only one I'm hearing that's having this issue.
He started the game 3 times, he said, because he got stuck and couldn't go back. I said, there's fast traveling in the game.
There's no fast traveling.
It's called falling from the cliff.
Oh, he didn't get he's not far enough to get fast travel.
Hence why his opinion doesn't matter on this game.
Wow, you're not even. So you didn't even beat the first 4 temples, or the first 4 shrines.
Listen to all these Switch loving gatekeepers over here, Tricky. Can you believe these guys?
3 of the 4 Driftcast members are here, baby.
They're patronizing you over like accessibility inefficiencies. This is outrageous.
Can we get into this for a second? Because I'm willing to admit that I probably screwed up. But the first time I played the game, I jumped off the cliff to get out of the cave.
As one does.
The game glitches on me.
Broken.
And
I told you I'm sorry that happened.
Okay. Second time, I got through the first temple, and they said you got to get 2 more. I went to go get to the second temple. I was freezing my ass off. I couldn't get there. I looked it up to see where I can get some clothes, and there was a piece of clothing that I couldn't get to, and I said, okay, I'm going to restart the game. I'm not that far in. I went out of the cave.
You need to make food. You need to make food.
Did you miss the part of the game where you play the game?
Can I finish? So then I get out of the cave. I get the first treasure chest. Then I went to the left, jumped down, got the second piece, and now I'm stuck there.
Yes. So you're missing the parts of the game that are, the game where you cook to buff yourself against certain things to travel better.
But I didn't have a chili pepper to get to.
Hey, you know what was at the bottom of the mountain that I needed to climb? Chili peppers. And if you played Breath of the Wild to any effectiveness, that's your anti-cold formula.
All right.
I cook 5 of them together and it's a whole 12 minutes.
So
yeah, I know.
I hear that if they get red hot, they make some sweet music.
Like Californication?
Ooh. T. Diddy, you've been very, very quiet. Why don't you start us off with what you've been playing?
I have been playing Tears of the Kingdom, which is an awesome, awesome game. I probably got about probably about 56 hours into it.
Nice.
And then
it's a lot different than 20.
20
yes, it's a lot different than 20. That's correct.
It's
a lot different than 2.
I've been playing Core Crisis for the PS5 because I got that from GameFly for like $13 because they're having a big sale at GameFly right now.
What'd you get?
Final Fantasy Core Crisis for $13 at a
nice.
GameFly.
That's a good pickup, man. Yeah, you could beat it. Did you get the PS4 version or the PS5?
PS4, so that way I have the PS4 and the PS5 version because the PS5 version is a free upgrade.
Yep.
Also, I started the No More Heroes 3 thanks to Darrell, who put that on the Facebook page. So thank you so much for that. And big shout out to Darrell also for the Father's Day shirts that he has coming up here soon.
Yes.
But outside of that, my usual enemies, Hogwarts Legacy, Disney Dreamlight, and of course, and within the next 2.5 hours, the best game or one of the best fighting games, because we are so privileged this year to have 3 amazing fighting games coming out in 1 year, which will be Street Fighter 6 in the next 2 hours, Mortal Kombat 1, and then of course the new Tekken. 4 fighting games. What's the other one?
Budokai.
3 fighting games coming out.
He said good games. Joe, he said good games.
Yes. And
Budokai's not a real word, by the way. They made that up.
I'm so
all words are made up.
stoked, man. I've been listening to the Street Fighter 4 theme song, the Indestructible, and just the whole start of it's very techno-ish, and I love techno music, and it's just get you pumped, man. You can't ready to kick the hell out of somebody. There's so many good combos in this one. The net code's fixed because the net code for 5 was garbage, and I got the deluxe edition, early Father's Day gift. But I also hope to get the Father's Day gift of the Loot Bros new shirt that'll be coming out here soon for the Residence Darrell. And where can they find that shirt, Darrell?
Store Frontier. If you go to the descriptions of any of our shows, I put a link in there for Linktree. Store Frontier is one of the links on our Linktree. So all of our merch is on there. And yeah, I've got some Loot Bros stuff that I'm going to put up there this month. Thomas and I were talking about that earlier today. As a matter of fact, I've got new shirts that I'm putting up there, and I'm actually going to run a batch of those for us to have as giveaways for our panel we're doing in September for the South Carolina Horror Con. So
Horror Con.
That's right. Thomas is going to join me, and we're going to do the panel together. And we're going to be set up for 2 days, selling horror merchandise, talking Loot Bros.
What days are these?
September 15th and 16th or 16th, 17th. Horrors.
I might have to.
Oh, so it's a horror con.
That's when the horrors come in.
The horror con. Yeah.
I might have to take a trip down to Carolina and bring some horrors with me.
Do it. Come see the horrors.
I petition that we change T. Diddy's name to Mick Foley for all the shameless plugs he's throwing in.
Cheap pops.
Hey, he does these cheap pops in our messenger. We'll be talking back and forth, and he'll just be straight popping for he'll be selling stuff to me. I'm like, dang, I just
freaking love it.
Can I just say, like, this entire time until Darrell said his name, I did not know that was T. Diddy.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
T. Diddy and Thomas and Crawdaddy, they're all the same guy. It's like Mick Foley. It's Do Love Mankind and Cactus Jack.
His setup is different, and he's kind of sitting in the dark, so I didn't really recognize him.
Hey, Thomas. Extreme close-up. Hey, Thomas. So I was talking to you the other day about the control schemes for Street Fighter 6 and how there's modern and classic. My buddy was telling me that the modern scheme has I think a negative 10 or 15% damage bonus to when you fight versus people who have classic. But he's saying that in the fighting community, especially in the Japanese market, that there's still a bunch of people saying that they're going to be using the modern despite the bonus or the damage debuff.
Because you get more combos when you're using the modern if you don't know what you're doing. In other words, for those who actually go in the trials, which is the first thing I'll be doing as soon as I get the game is going in the trials, I'll take Cammy in the trials, I'll take DJ in the trials, because I usually have 15 mains, and then I have everybody else I kind of know, I'll be a novelist on those, but I have 15 mains I like to stay with, and then everybody else is I can play with them if I need to, but Cammy's my number one. She's always my girl. Cammy never lets me down. So,
she plays awesome in this new game. Oh my god!
So in the Street Fighter movie, if you remember, she did not let Jean-Claude Van Damme down either.
Did you see how she's a charged character now? It's so fucking awesome. Oh,
she's so quick.
Well, she was a charged character in Alpha, if you remember. She
plays more like Alpha in this one, and the dive attacks that she can do now. Oh my god! It's fucking and then that Kimberly girl, that new Kimberly, she looks awesome too. I can't wait to play as her. I think she might be the first
from a Bicky.
Joe's gonna need a cold shower after this podcast.
I can't wait to fucking play that shit at midnight.
Either he just needs to let his recording go.
It's going to be about the modern control for all these newbies that are coming in, for all the young people who are coming in. They don't want to do the classic.
First.
Now the real question, TD, though, does the game allow macros?
Technically, every game does.
Tricky's not going to be able to get the platinum without his macros.
Transactions.
It was a rhetorical question. I just wanted to trigger some guys, and
some people listen to Trivia Whores are.
Oh, your bullshit Mortal Kombat platinum. You got macros, you little bitch.
Listen to this guy.
It's not cheating.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and there's another thing I wanted to mention before I get off this. Shout out again to Trickymic and his trophy whores, but you don't have to be such a whore when you're complaining about not getting enough points. Come on, man.
That's right.
No. Listen, I am not arguing in any way, shape, or form that I won. I lost. I should say I did not come in first place. I'm not arguing that at all. But let's be real. Joe only won because he wanted to play the safe, friendly. Oh, Spider-Man 2 is going to be shown. Of course, it was going to be shown.
Hey, man, I want to win. It's not play to lose.
No, but see, everybody else that made predictions, they put some balls on the line. They weren't such a pussy.
Hey, listen, man,
He's dropping the P word.
it don't matter.
So, if you want to count who had balls in one, that'd be me and Darrell.
That's right.
I have a question.
Ball bros. What's up?
Why is the P word such a bad thing? And balls are so, you really have the balls.
First of all, the P word's delicious.
Do you want the real answer for that?
I'm not done yet, sir.
Okay.
Please let me finish my joke.
Oh, this was a joke?
This is known as jokes.
Was a lead-in.
Balls are so weak, but a pussy can fucking dilate and push out a 9-centimeter head, probably 15 in your case, Tricky. Which makes it way stronger.
Kalai, let me fix your joke. Balls are so weak, but at least a pussy can take a pounding.
That's right.
Ow. What even happened here?
I was like, this is a good Christian podcast.
Yeah, it hasn't been never.
No, dude. I gave up that friggin' 10 years. No, I'm just kidding. Several years ago, I was telling T Diddy the other day, I used to edit out
all the curses,
all the cursing and all that stuff in the beginning. And dude, I would spend so many hours editing the show. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm going to go insane. And because I was very fixated on being able to play the show anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, say what you want. I want you to come on the show. I want you to have a good time. Be yourself.
He wanted to be able to show it to his church friends, and that's out the window.
Not only that, but like we were getting played in 2 different GameStops locally. You know what I'm saying? So people were like playing the show in the store, and you can't be dropping the P word up in the GameStop when a 7-year-old's trying to buy Grand Theft Auto. You know what I'm saying? You got to have standards. and so one day we were having a conversation about Batman versus Superman. Shocker. And the boys, Tanner and Frosty, went on this whole tirade about a bat dildo. And I edited out that episode because they're like, yeah, what if Batman uses because he doesn't kill people, but what if he hits them with a dildo? It's just this whole big thing. And I was like, I kept editing out that word. And I was using Mortal Kombat sound effects, the little toasty or whatever.
So what if he puts the dildo inside them? Because it is Gay Pride Month. So he puts it inside. I'm like, where's the trigger?
Where's Harvey?
Thomas, his new theme song could be dildo, Batman.
So after that episode, that was the defining moment where I was like, you know what? I can't. I'll go insane trying to keep up with this. This is too much.
You guys want to know the trigger to make Darrell really uncomfortable?
Spiders?
No, The Last of Us episode 3.
Didn't they just do a deluxe version of that episode? They they showed like the full amount of that episode on it. They did it either for like the DVD or the whatever, but it's a longer version of that episode. Like, look, man, I don't care to see the dude from Parks and Recreation get pounded. Okay, I like to remember him as Ron has a libertarian.
Hey, that's right. He was a libertarian sweetheart. Now, not anymore. He has been defiled.
And when you mention the P word, I just assume you're talking about pussy willows or wonderful, beautiful pussy cats, or you're thinking of the wonderful, beautiful, and voluptuous Catwoman.
Pussy galore?
What about Pussy galore?
Have you guys ever seen Dusk Till Dawn?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
American Pie pussy.
We got stinky pussy. We got wet pussy. We got dirty pussy.
We got a new flavor. Apple pie. Oh gosh.
Only Cheech Marion could have done that.
Dude, he slayed that role. That was such a amazing movie. God almighty, that was such a good movie. So, all right. Matt, you're up. What have you been playing?
Make this short, simple, to the point. Best game of the year, no contenders. Nintendo knows exactly what the people want. Tears of the Kingdom. I've been playing nothing else since the game came out. I will say Spider-Man 2 may be a contender later this year.
Oh, it's good, baby.
Champions coming in 20 days.
Bully Spider-Man. Yeah. Here's the thing. They've done the Bully Spider-Man so many times. It's, hey, what are we going to do to make sure that people know it's the symbiote that he's with? Oh, just make him talk gruffer and make him sound upset.
I got teeth. Yep, that's happening.
The only problem with Spider-Man, and the reason why I don't think it would be a contender, is it's probably going to be like a 10-hour game.
No.
The last one wasn't. It was way longer.
So here's the thing.
It wasn't that long.
Mainline
10 hours.
I am about 35 to 40 hours in Tears of the Kingdom.
That's it.
I'm sorry. Why would you want to waste your life like that?
Whose phone?
How many hours? That? I know. I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry. How many
I am
hours?
35 to 40 hours in Tears of the Kingdom. I am not saying it's a perfect game.
Aren't you like 80 hours in Kalai?
I am not going to stand here on my soapbox and be like, this is the be all end all of games. I will say they've fixed many of the issues that we had in Breath of the Wild.
Oh, yeah.
How many hours have you played, Tricky?
The weapons still break.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm glad you played enough to understand that.
You play fucking Division. Your opinion's invalid on this show.
The
Master Sword is in pieces.
Well, you do.
Yeah, it's called story, Tricky. That's what happens when you try to develop a game.
Yeah,
that's not the Division.
Tried and failed.
Darrell's trying to hold up. What is that time to beat on Spider-Man?
According to How Long to Beat, main story on Spider-Man, 17 hours.
Yeah, it's a good game, and that's just main story. Not to mention all the side missions. Back to my point. Listen, Tears of the Kingdom is not a perfect game by any means. I will accept that Tricky thinks it's ugly. I can disagree. I think the art style is great. I think the mechanics work for what it's trying to do. There was an article recently that came out and said there's this puzzle in the Wind Temple, and you go and you ask 10 people, and you could find potentially 10 different ways to solve that same puzzle.
That's what I love about this game.
And that speaks to great game design, because you can make a game and go, this is the only way to solve the puzzle, and if you don't like it, too bad, you're too stupid. But to give the players all the tools to be able to solve puzzles in multiple ways is good game design. And whether you agree with that or not, Tricky, I'm looking at you. Just because you have a Hylian shield and Master Sword up on your wall doesn't make you the be-all, end-all of Zelda games. This game has Zelda. It has Ganon. It has Link. You want to talk about what makes a Zelda game? We've already had an episode on that. So to that point, I will say game of the year, no contenders this year. Have a good one. Next.
Can I point your point there?
Go ahead.
No.
Okay.
Well, he's the bailiff. He's the bailiff, so he can say no. And game of the year contender comes out in 21 days, my friend. 21 more days.
All right.
Final Fantasy 16 will be a game of the year contender.
Go ahead, Tricky.
All right, Matt. I respect your opinion on what you would just talk about the temple. Okay. But here's why I disagree with you. If there is a puzzle in a game, there should be a clear-cut way to solve it. If there's multiple ways to solve that puzzle, I think that's a bad game design, because they didn't design that puzzle strategically enough to provide a challenge. If there's multiple ways.
All right.
Here, I'll put it this way.
I can't listen to your bullshit anymore.
No,
I'm sorry.
No. Joe, stop. Let him go. Let him go.
To make my point here, okay? If multiple keys unlock a lock, then that is a shitty lock. But if the lock only can be opened by one key, that's a master lock.
No, you see, you're using the wrong simile to describe the situation, because here's how it really is. I appreciate your insight on it. I'm not saying that you are incorrect in a way of thinking, depending on game design.
That's literally what people complained about Breath of the Wild for, Matt.
Shut up and let people talk.
I want to make a point, but then I didn't get to.
Well, I will let Joe speak after this. Here's what I'm saying.
Let the adults talk. The children talk later.
Ouch. Because Breath of the Wild is an open world game, and you need to let the player explore it at their leisure on their terms. You have to make puzzles that don't have necessarily definitive solutions. There are puzzles in this game that have definitive solutions. Look at some of the Korok puzzles. You have to solve them in a specific way by manipulating a piece of land or a structure. But overall temple designs, you have to make them solvable at any point in the game, because if you don't, you create soft blocks and blocks that players can't get through. That's why game design is that important for the type of game. In traditional Zelda games with dungeons, it matters because you can direct where that player is and what tools they have at their disposal. If the Wind Temple puzzle required a specific type of weapon that you didn't pick up because you didn't get to that point of the game, then you have to solve for that. And as a game designer, that's not an easy thing to do. So you have to put certain things in the way. And with that, Joe.
There's a simple solution to it.
Hold on, Tricky. Joe had a point. I want to make sure that he gets his point.
So you're locked in the old Zelda mentality. And this is what pissed people off about Breath of the Wild, is that you could only solve things one way in Breath of the Wild. And Nintendo said, well, okay, everybody's breaking this game wide open. So what did Nintendo do to Tears of the Kingdom? They said, fuck it. We'll let them break the whole thing apart. We'll design the game in a way in which people can do what they want to do. If they want to shoot themselves across the map with a rock, we'll give them a rocket to do it now. Like they literally sat for a year and tweaked this game. It's been done for a year, and they sat there and they're like, we're going to polish it. And we're going to make sure everything that we think people want to do in this game is possible. And I think that's, and Matt, it sucks because I wanted to talk most of this stuff on our show.
Oh, we will.
But I feel like we're going to regurgitate, but I don't care. But like, you're so stuck in your linear Zelda box. It's like, it's sad.
I'm not stuck in a box. What
you fucking are. It's okay. Let me finish because you want Zelda to be this thing, and it's evolved, and unfortunately things evolve, and I hate the word evolved. I think it's the worst. It's a terrible word, and
I don't
people
believe
use
in evolution either.
And people use it to fucking Darrell. And people use it to describe bands when they change their sound. Oh, they're evolving. No, they're just going radio. Fuck off. They're not evolving. Their sound's not getting better. It's getting worse. But anyway. Zelda's not getting worse. It's getting better. And I think there's a world where both can exist, where like, a nice 3D Zelda that has like the form factor of like a Link to the Past or a Skyward Sword can exist in the same world as like say a Breath of the Wild, because I honestly don't want another one of these giant Breath of the Wild games next. I want something more akin to your regular Legend of Zelda experience. I do. Because I think these games take so long to make. I want something else to kind of like, satiate my need for more Zelda in the meantime. Matt?
No, Tricky wanted to make a point, so I'll let him go before we finally move on from the subject.
Listen, I'm not stuck in my old school Zelda mentality. I'm stuck in I like Zelda, and these are not Zelda. This is, to your point, Joe, and then I'll address Matt's point in a second. Oh, they evolved this so people can make solutions. Fuck that. Straight up, fuck that. Make your game. Don't let your community say, "Oh, well, there was only one solution to this. I don't like that." And go, "Oh, well, I guess we have to cater to the minors and say, oh, we got to have multiple."
He thinks you're so bullshit. He's working out in the background.
I let you talk. Shut up. Okay. And Matt, to your point, if you need a certain tool to beat a temple, then don't unlock that temple until you have that tool. Make it so you can't get to that temple without using that tool.
So now you're restricting player movement.
Yeah. I'm not restricting player movement.
You're restricting player movement in an open world game.
Zelda has always been, you need a certain tool to progress. And if you don't have that tool, that's where it goes on. That's why when Darksiders came out, everybody compared Darksiders to Zelda, because it's like, oh, you need this weapon to access this dungeon. You have to go back and forth. This is no longer going back and forth. They're saying, oh, well, okay, well, you didn't stop and get this tool that was required, so we're going to make it easier for you to beat this temple because we don't want to piss you off. That's bullshit.
And two, you're saying don't cater to the whiners and the fans, which is exactly what they're doing, because you have a bunch of people saying, I want my traditional Zelda back. And they're saying, no, this is the Zelda game you're getting.
Listen, I have the final. I'm gonna lay down the final law right here on Zelda.
Take a dump on the ground,
and then we're going to
Twitter on it.
Move on.
We'll get a 10 out of 10.
Tricky, you're muted. So check it out. This is how we do things here at Loot Bros. All right. I love the fact that you guys are so passionate about your Zeldas. Okay. Zelda is booty. Hey, Kalai, what have you been playing?
Well, surprise, surprise. I have been playing Snap.
Like Marvel Snap?
Yeah, Marvel Snap.
God, I've been playing the full out of that. It's so good.
I know. It's actually, I have a really funny story that happened this morning. So this morning, Jim had to go to a PT appointment this afternoon, and we're saving money by only having one car because most of the time he works from home and most of the time I work from home. So he took me to work today. So I'm playing Marvel Snap in the car, and now, Darrell, I've been playing since the beginning. I've gotten like every season pass. So I have like every card that's ever come out. So I'm playing against this guy and I'm like, oh my God, he played the monkey. He got a really good job with the monkey, which is Hit Monkey. What Hit Monkey says is for every card that you play that turn, Hit Monkey gets +2, but it's the turn it comes out. So I'm telling him, he's like, so Jim's like, what monkey? I'm like, the monkey. I'm like, the monkey. He's like, Kalai, there's a bunch of monkeys in that card game. I said, Jim, there's only one monkey in the Marvel Universe. He's like, no, there isn't. I was like, name another monkey in the Marvel Universe. He said, Beast.
Oof.
He's literally a beast. It's in his name.
I'm going to disown him.
Yeah.
He's literally called Beast because he's a beast, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I can't argue it because he does monkey-ish things, but he's definitely not a monkey.
Exactly. So I just wanted to tell that. I also went back a little bit and I'm trying to finish up Scarlet Nexus.
Okay.
I'm actually on chapter 9.
How long is it?
Like 10 chapters.
That's not too bad.
Oh, is your doggy all right, Tricky?
It's mad at him.
For his shitty opinions on Zelda.
So I was thinking about you all playing this game. So I'm like watching the cutscenes, and the cutscenes are a little bit long in Scarlet Nexus. So while I was watching the cutscenes, I was also playing Slay the Spire. Yeah, cutscenes. I was also playing Slay the Spire on PlayStation.
Heck yeah, I'm getting ready to start that.
Oh, really? It's a good game to play when you're like recording and stuff because you could always put it down, which is really nice.
Nice.
And it's a good game to stream. And of course, I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom.
Gross.
I'm really enjoying the game. I mean, I like the nods to the original Zelda, which is kind of very cute. I don't know if you've seen some of the original stuff that they put in there.
I mean, I just think you hit the nail on the head, Kalai. Like, this is the truest form of original Zelda that there ever has been. Like, it's literally exploration.
When that little thing popped up, when I got hit from the stupid radish that pops out of the ground, I was like, oh my God, that's from the original Zelda. And I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah. And then that time that I played Zelda. Yeah, that Zelda stuff happened.
See, Darrell, this is what it's like when we listen to you talk about Zack Snyder and the Snyderverse and movies.
Yeah,
just throwing it out there.
I get it. When you don't have good taste, then the things that I just put out there for you guys, it's like it falls on deaf ears. Just like me when when you talk about Zelda, it falls on deaf ears. I just can't.
Why does Tricky have his dog in a pen?
Because he's it's a jailbird.
Trying to crate train the dog, and now he's
Yeah, the dog just tore up a bunch of stuff. So we're watching. So for all the audio listeners, we're watching Tricky on camera clean out. His dog just looks like it tore up like maybe the pee pad or something he had in there.
That's a possibility. And the poor thing got caught. He got caught stuck in the cage. But I can't believe Tricky actually picked up a broom. This is riveting entertainment here. Now he's looking for a pan to actually a dustpan.
Yeah,
but being a man, he doesn't know where to do it. Now he's
play-by-play is amazing.
This is the most passionate she's been on the show since she talked about Joe taking her to Pound. I mean, Jim taking her to Pound Town. Oh my god!
He just touched the pee pads with all the pee on it. Up now
So
the dog's going
dog
back
just
in.
wants to be loved, and he's like, get in the cage.
So to be fair, Tricky literally got off work. So the dog was in the kennel from when he was at work, and he ran straight from his station at work and jumped on the call with us.
But I have a question. Aren't you supposed to put a pee pad back in there?
Maybe he doesn't need one now because he's here.
Maybe. Does he need to go for a walk? Does he want walkies? Does somebody want walkies?
Don't say it too loud. The dog might hear you.
I think I'm muted. I was talking to Tricky.
Oh, that's amazing. All right. Joe, what have you been playing?
Tears of the Kingdom. Next.
Gross. All right, moving on. I'm just kidding.
No, I put about 20 hours in, I would say. I'm literally just going shrine to shrine to shrine now, and not even cashing in my goddess things. I've just collected I'm almost about to collect 20.
Why are you talking about why you play like that?
Dang, he's talking about turning in your wife.
Why are you talking about turning into my wife?
What? Oh yeah,
The goddess.
Yeah. Wow. My Switch is definitely about to overheat and blow up though.
Carol,
It's
how do you
7-year-old
podcast with these guys? It takes so long to get built.
That's what we do here, man.
Listen, Tricky, we all can't be as quick-witted as the people on the Trophy Horse podcast.
I mean, you can't be as professional either. At least my guys show up every week.
What the fuck is? First of all, you don't even show up every week, and I listen to your fucking show, so I would know.
That's true. Also, Yul wasn't on this past show, so your argument is invalid. What else you been playing, Joe?
Yul, it's pay-per-view week. Yul doesn't show up for pay-per-view weeks.
Oh, that's right.
We should all know this by
It was
now.
his anniversary, so shut up.
It's also
Everybody's anniversary is this week. What's going on with you?
So you knew he wouldn't show up anyway. It's pay-per-view week.
That's right. He was going to be out.
Dumbass. Pay-per-views are on Saturdays. We record on Sundays.
They are not on Saturdays anymore.
Yes, they are.
AEW was on Sunday. They were both. It was Saturday and Sunday.
He doesn't watch that bullshit wrestling.
So
First of all, we don't talk about the Lord's wrestling. We don't take it in vain.
It's bullshit.
We don't do that here.
They just had a pay-per-view where half their 3/4 of the stadium was empty.
And
wait.
and 3/4 of it were tickets that they got from buying hamburgers.
Here's the thing that I find interesting.
Yeah,
Darrell, what have you been playing?
Oh, man, I am so glad you asked.
You're so good at this. Maybe you can become a podcaster.
That's right.
Way to go, bailiff.
That's right. Hey, just like Kalai, I've been playing a ton of Marvel Snap. So I want to give a shout out to all of the Loot Bros listeners who have been in the Discord posting all their Marvel Snap business. I was completely against it, right? I don't play mobile games.
Yeah, you work. I was going to say that. I was like, oh, God. I started a channel and I was like, oh, that's so awesome. Whatever.
Yeah. So here's the thing. She's right. And here's the thing. I want you guys to have your things. You know what I'm saying? And like, if your thing is Marvel Snap and you want to start a channel in the Discord, well, by all means, do your thing. Don't let me stop you from having a good time. Now, granted, it might not be for me, and every now and again I might make a little joke, but yes, I thought that you making the Marvel Snap little room was awesome. Not only that, but like there's traffic in it every day. Like you guys are always doing stuff. So I think it's awesome. That being said, I was getting on a charter bus to go on a trip. I was chaperoning my son's team, or excuse me, his band, his school band for a competition they were going on. And I said, son, I didn't think it was a good idea for me to bring the Vita on the charter bus. A, because I didn't want these little grubby nerds trying to take my Vita, and B, I didn't know if if the chaperone comes on and plays video games the whole time, he's supposed to be watching kids, if that's good or bad. I think it'll be good, but hey, whatever. So I was like, hey, we need to download a mobile game. I said, a bunch of our community members play Marvel Snap. Let's try it out. Sure enough, we downloaded it. instantly hooked. I'm talking for me. Now, I'm not saying that this is good, okay? Like, but for me, this is like as hooked as I've ever been on a mobile game. And I'm pulling up my thing now, but I think I'm like a level like 130, 140 something on there. So like I've been playing
which you're talking about like your collection level.
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. 143, that little green number up top.
Yeah. My green level is 4,000.
So yeah. So you definitely play more than I do, but I've been knocking out my daily missions, knocking out my weekly missions. And what's been awesome is this. Now, this right here, guys. Now, for those of you who are parents, this may or may not resonate for you. Those of you who are not parents, this one will definitely not resonate. But this is the last week of school for the school year. Okay. And all week long, it's fluff and bull crap, and it's half days. And I'm getting up, taking my kids to school by 8. And then I come home and I got to pick them up by 10:40. I mean, what's the point of even going in? But hey, whatever. So I get a text message, and it's my son. He's like, "Hey, Dad, I'm done with my work, and the teacher said we could play on our phones. Do you want to play Marvel Snap with me?" And I'm sitting here at my desk, and I'm doing a little work or whatever. I was like, "Yes, I'd love to play with you, son." And so while my son's in school, we're playing Marvel Snap together. And it was just like one of those things where I'm like, man, I am at that age now where I have a kid who's old enough to be away from me. And he's just like, "Hey, Dad, let's hang out and play this game together." It just was one of those things where I was like, man, this is such a good time. This is awesome. And so in Carline, well, I'm sitting there waiting, and I got 45 minutes to kill between schools. I'm like, "Send me a room code." And we're sitting there and we're playing Marvel Snap against each other while I'm waiting to pick him up in Carline. Guys, it's been a freaking blast.
What's your main deck, by the way? Because I'm sure everybody else in the community who are playing with like now.
So I am using what I think is a pretty conservative deck. My mains are going to be Mr. Fantastic. I always play him in the center lane.
Yeah, of course.
I'm using Cable. He's only a 2 cost, 2 damage, but he steals a card from your deck.
Yes.
And it's really cool because sometimes he'll steal like a really good card. I'll say, as for my cleaner, I use Hulk as, when in doubt, smash it out. And then I have Onslaught. It's kind of like my second, number 6 card or whatever.
Yeah.
So, look at Tricky trying to play the Switch again. Old sneaky Switch.
You started from the beginning again?
Look at him.
I'm stuck. I can't get out of the area I'm in.
Yep.
What Joy-Cons do you have? What's on those?
Wouldn't you like to know?
There you go. But yes, anyways, I really, really dig it. I keep the Punisher in my deck just for fun. Spider-Woman, because she'll go and suck the life out of these people. I win with Spider-Woman all the time. And I use, for my 1 cost cards, I'm using Nightcrawler and Rocket Raccoon.
They're good. Did you get the one that gives all your +1/+1s? All your
there's a few of those. I've kind of interchanged a bunch of them out. I've got a ton of cards, but my son, he plays like a destruction deck. So half of his deck are people that when you kill them, they come back or they buff your people. So he stacks up the lands and then comes in with Deathlock and kills everybody. Mm-hmm. And dude, his deck is nasty. Like that boy he sent me a screenshot today where he was winning 30s and 40s and 50s across multiple lands. Like he is really really and he's got like this system set up where he basically kills his apocalypse and respawns apocalypse constantly. So
Wolverine also respawns.
Say what? Yeah, absolutely. Wolverine will respawn and then throw him on another land. So Marvel Snap, guys, basically what I'm saying is this: I don't like mobile. I love like comic book heroes, but I have fallen out of love with Marvel over the past few years. I've always been more of a DC person, but I do love my Marvel mainstays: Carnage, Venom, Wolverine, Punisher. Hands down, some of the best characters ever created. This game is awesome, and it's super fun.
By the way, Carnage is a really good game.
He's good. He's a good character. So
he's also good in the game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Throw 2 or 3 of them on the map. Throw Carnage in there. He'll absorb them. +2s across the board. So definitely awesome. As for real games that I've been playing, not this mobile trash, I am 1 trophy away. I'm 1 ability point away from the platinum and Control. I've been playing Control every day this week.
Oh, fuck that map.
It's very frustrating how like I cannot seem to get this last ability point. I've used guides to find all the hidden ability points, and I'm at 99. I need one more. I've done most of the side missions. I've done at least 15 of them because I know I have points, I have the trophy for it. And I got one more ability point, but I'm fighting a boss right now. That's pretty. Look at you with your Zelda controller. I'm fighting one boss right now. This like the final boss for the DLC. Guys, the DLC for Control is absolutely amazing. Like, it is so incredibly well done. Like, I love Control, but the DLC is so next level, and it takes Alan Wake and just like molds that universe with Control. I mean, obviously Control and Alan Wake take place in the same universe, but it's just so incredibly good. It's so well done. So it's definitely absolutely amazing. And then I'll just throw one more out there. Kind of the last thing that I've been playing of any real consequence is I got online with my buddy Gareth today, and we played a little bit of Sonic Transform Racing, and then I ended up continuing to play it after that. I wasn't planning on spending a ton of time on that, playing it on the Vita, and it's tough. It's kind of difficult. Definitely won't be going for the platinum, but we got online today. He's in Greece. He's actually on his 10-year anniversary, and we were messaging back and forth, and it was like, hey man, let's he said, let's knock this trophy out. And so we ended up doing a couple races or whatever. And I just kind of sat there and played it for a little bit longer. So Control, Marvel Snap, and Sonic Transform Racing, those are the main things that I've been playing. And outside of that, a bunch of pinball games, but nobody wants to hear about my trash pinball games. So, Tricky, I know we technically only heard your grievances with Zelda, but what else have you been playing besides Tears of the Kingdom? Sorry.
Well, unfortunately, I'm playing Trash of the Kingdom now. I'm trying to give it another shot. So I can officially tell Matt G this game sucks.
Sorry, what?
Exactly. Been grinding through Grid Legends, and starting next week, I'm going to be diving back into the Division a lot.
Do it.
And I'm also playing a lot of games that I'm keeping hidden.
Yeah, that's what we hear. That's what we hear. We old sneaky Mick. They're trying to hide his trophies.
No matter how many games you got hidden, there's no way you're reaching top 5.
Okay.
Dude, I'll put it to you like this, man. Like,
it ain't happening.
Okay,
just the idea of you even, like, just you hiding one extra trophy. Rick just started slamming platinums down. And now I know that, like, that's not why. It is just a very fun, the way it worked out, because we're doing the GTTSC trophy hunting competition right now. And we're in week 9 or getting close to week 10 or whatever. And the competition, this has been a much tougher, like, higher volume point scoring competition than last time. And so Rick opened up a can this past week, dude. He started and platinumed Tomb Raider remake. Then he turned around and he dropped the platinum on Skyrim in VR. And then he 100% another VR. This dude has been tearing through VR games, and he's just constantly dropping points. But the thing is, these trophies are going to keep him climbing that rarity event so freaking high that, like, man, I don't know. That top 5 is getting very, very competitive.
Okay, you see, this is what people seem to forget about the rarity contest. I do not have to beat Rick.
I know. I'm just saying.
And everybody's like, oh, you're not going to catch Rick. I'm like, my bet is not I'm going to beat Rick. My bet is that I'm going to reach the top 5.
You got to get over 1,000 points to get in that top 5.
Okay, Joe, you keep talking shit, so I'm going to give you the opportunity. Put your money where your mouth is.
Oh, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Here's the thing. I believe in you, Tricky. All right. I am Team Tricky on this one. I think you can get in the top 5. The thing is, will you do it?
Okay, let's be real about something here for a second, okay? All jokes aside, everything like that. Every single contest that I've been put to, every single bet that I've been held to, have I not won?
I mean, there's always some sort of like shenanigans surrounding it. It's never been clean. Never once.
It's always bullshit.
It's like WWE. It's like Roman Reigns title reign. You win.
Exactly. It's just like this every time.
Clean.
It's like this. It's like Tricky wins. You just hold up the finger, and the fucking bloodline music plays.
Joe's talking so much shit his internet's giving out.
Yeah, Joe, you turned to a robot.
Yeah, I know.
The fact of the matter is, every single contest I have won. I have not cheated. There's no proof of me ever been cheating, but somehow I always come out on top. That's all I'm saying.
You auto popping bastard. You talking about not cheating. You macro using motherfucker.
I didn't use the macro in the contest.
Jeez.
Anyways.
Yep. All right, guys. So the reason why we're here is not to measure our auto popping penises. No. The reason why we're here is because each of you has been given the task to bring 3 to 5 games to the panel to sell us on those games. Starting with T Diddy, let's go around the horn. You one person, one game each time, and let's see what you got for us first, T Diddy.
All right, so I want to do a couple of honorable mentions real quick because the stories were just too convoluted for me to actually do in-depth dive, which would be Final Fantasy, Dirge of Cerberus, and of course Rhaegar for the PlayStation 2. Both of those are amazing games for the PS2.
One damn game.
That's
every time.
He said he wanted to throw these, but these are two
mentioned because
I was just saying the same thing. He can't just name one game. He's got to go. Oh, I can't do 5. I got to do 7.
So the one game I want to go on is the Castlevania Lords of the Shadow.
Oh, you bastard.
Amazing game.
Amazing game. And Hideo Kojima was not at the head of it, but he was brought in to basically oversee it, which is why Gabriel looks so much like Solid Snake or, Big Boss.
Metal Gear.
There we go. And what a great game, great story. Let's not forget that this game was so different than other Castlevanias because you don't have the Metrovania thing going on with that. It's its own monster. The DLC was okay. The DLC could have been better because long story short, for those who don't know, the Castlevania Lords of the Shadow for the PS3, which needs to be remade. I'm talking to you, Capcom. Or excuse me, Konami. Let me correct that for someone gets on me.
Somebody's screaming at their speakers right now.
I don't think they will though, because you can play them both on PlayStation Premium.
You can currently, and the story is that he loses his wife. He doesn't know how, but she's dead. That comes later. I'm not going to spoil that. And so he meets Patrick Stewart's character, which is unbelievably because the Patrick Stewart character looks like Sean Connery. If you've never played the game, the character looks like Sean Connery, but it's Patrick Stewart's voice, and he does such great voice acting work in this game. And so he tells him, if you get all these different parts of this mask put together, you can bring you can bring your wife back to life. And I love these stories for the fact is that every man loves his wife or significant other that he's willing to go on these quests that he's more likely to die and not make it in order to save his wife, in order to bring back somebody he loves. That's passion. That means something. That's part of being a man, is basically to sacrifice everything you are for the ones that you love. And he's willing to give up his soul. He's willing to give up everything that he believes in, even his church, for his wife. And so he goes through this quest, and he's fighting Lycans. So he has to, kill the number one werewolf. He has to fight vampires. So he has to kill, technically the number one werewolf, but you'll fit the number one vampire, but you'll figure out in the DLC that wasn't the case. Then he, the necromancers, so forth and so on. And then finally at the very end, the person who's been guiding him the whole quest, Patrick Stewart, turns out that spoiler, everybody, that he was the bad guy. He ends up taking the mask and says that the mask can't help you anyway. Then Satan comes, spoiler alert.
Guess we don't have to play the game now.
Yeah,
yes, this is correct.
Let's just go watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, that's true too. But the thing is that I'm not going to give away the ending. The ending is the most important part. And you basically die numerous times but get brought back to life, and your wife even fights to bring you back to life because of how much it meant to her for you to do this quest for God. Because she thought, it wasn't about really bringing her back. It was more or less a quest for God. Because remember, everything, well, for those who know, those who played, everything's set in darkness right now because there's a tear in between heaven where if you're a soul that's cast on earth, you can't ascend to heaven because of the lords of the shadows of everything being in darkness. And so you're the one to try to put everything back together where people can ascend to heaven. And the tale is so dark and twisted for the fact that Hideo Kojima did have his fingerprints on it. They originally wanted the original makers of the game wanted Gabriel to have red hair, and all I could see is just him being replaced by somebody of an ethnic background because he has red hair. So I'm glad that didn't happen. So he'll never be replaced. Yeah. But
all the redheads get replaced.
But unbelievably great controls. It had so many good things going on for it. If anybody's familiar with not Ico, but Shadows of was it Shadows of Colossus? Yeah, it has so many things going on with Shadow of Colossus where you climb up these big monsters, and just really a great game. Good soundtrack. Hideo Kojima's fingerprints are all over it, even though he didn't produce it, but he basically just kind of checked in on them, made sure they were doing what they were supposed to be doing, because they outsourced this. This wasn't a normal thing done by in-house by Konami. They outsourced that game. So nothing but love and respect, and I didn't give too much away. I gave a little bit away.
You gave away the whole damn game.
Just the tip.
Yeah, just the tip. But Zobek, just playing the game and hearing Patrick Stewart, because Patrick Stewart also, anytime you open up your book for the shadows and the book of just narration, and you're like, Patrick Stewart will be reading to you. His name's Zobak, but he'll be reading to you, and his normal, traditional voice. And if you love Patrick Stewart, which most people do, just awesome. And all the voice acting is super good. It's so worth playing, giving your time to that. And if you don't want to at least play that one, play
There he goes to another game.
Hey, I'm staying within Castlevania, okay? Play the Castlevania. People consider it the God of War knockoff. The was it Castlevania Curse of something or another for the PlayStation 2. And to me, God of War is not really a knockoff of DMC in a way when it first came out, if you remember, for the PlayStation 2, until they made the corrections. But with that said, I think this Lord of the Shadows is worth a play. I think, like I said, again, the voice acting is amazing. The gameplay is amazing. The set cameras kind of upset you from time to time, but it's something that you get used to. And then the gameplay itself, the controls are tight, and that's the one thing. And it does have some good platforming in it. So if you like the Castlevania from Netflix and you're into Castlevania itself, one of the better stories told in the Castlevania universe.
Nice. All right, Matt, you're up. What is your first game?
All right. Game was released in 1997 on PlayStation, Nintendo 64, PlayStation Network now on PS3 is available, and it was on the PC. Game called Nightmare Creatures.
Oh, yeah.
You played this one, Darrell?
I have.
Anybody else play it?
Never even heard of it.
Oh, here we go.
I figured T. Diddy would play a lot of these things that I played.
Part 1 and a Part 2, and Part 2 was also on the Dreamcast.
Part 2 fucking sucked.
I agree, but it was on the Dreamcast.
Awesome music. So the second one actually had Rob Zombie helm the.
No wonder the Dreamcast failed.
Dang.
You shut your goddamn mouth.
Dang.
Whoa! Using the GD word on a Christian podcast? Wow.
You touched him. You struck a chord with that one, Tricky.
Dreamcast is my one that got away.
I don't know what's worse, if I insult the Dreamcast or insult Zelda.
One of my favorite systems of all time.
It's all good.
You primed that response with Zelda hate, and then you hit.
I thought the Dreamcast was only good for Crazy Taxi.
Kalai, I thought you were my friend.
Yeah.
Why you gotta hurt me like that? Anyways, Nightmare Creatures.
Sometimes the truth hurts.
It was a brawler horror game. And you started off, you could choose one of two players, a male guy named Ignatius or a female Nadia, and you would fight undead, you would fight werewolves, Frankenstein monsters, grotesque things, set in like 1840s England type town. And as you go along, you collect. Oi, what's going on over there? You collect things. You can collect like guns. You get potions, other types of weapons you could use to fight them. Like if you got a torch, you could set the zombies on fire. It was great. And it had like this very early dismemberment system where if you beat a zombie, arms would fly off or they'd split in half. It was really cool. Ugly by today's standards. Ugly. I'm talking like Q Light ugly. But
why are you guys keep calling it Q Light? It's called Project Q.
It was called the Q Light before it was announced as Project Q. Freaking haters.
What's my real name?
So basically what you're doing is you're investigating why there's monsters attacking the towns, and you're following the main antagonist, guy's named Adam Crowley, which is a freaking awesome name because Ozzy Osbourne. Yep, Ozzy Osbourne said at the beginning. And you're just trying to figure out why he's trying to let loose all hell on Earth. And like I said, the monsters make up half this game. There are things in there that are like Cthulhu-based monsters. It's freaking weird, but it's really cool, and it's an adventure type of game. Kind of like if you take Bloodborne and teleport it decades ago.
Yeah.
So obviously, two of you played it. I was kind of expecting some of you did, but yeah, the first game was really cool. The second game, not so much. But that's what I'm bringing to the table for game number 1.
Nice, very nice. A good choice, by the way. Good choice. All right, Kalai, what is your game numero uno?
Well, my number 1 game is actually a series, and it's one of the series that I've played over the past 20 years. Every time it's come out, and that's going to be Sid Meier's Civilization.
Okay, nice.
I'm not sure if anybody on this panel's actually played it.
Yep.
I think I played Civ 2. I have one of them on the Vita right now. Civ 4, 5 maybe. I recently downloaded it on my Vita that I keep upstairs by my bed specifically to chip away at that.
It's got to be Civ 3 then.
Maybe.
Because that Civ 3 was for the portable, was ported. When you get to Civ 4 and Civ 5, the graphics, most systems can't handle it. Civ 6 is currently on the Switch, and it will chug after a while because it is a true sim city builder almost. So basically, you start out as a civilization. You start out with one guy and one explorer, and you have to pick a spot and make your capital, and then from there you have to churn out resources, explore the land.
Jeez,
Damn,
Joe, are we boring you?
I'm sorry, Joe. You bothered?
No, I'm just fucking tired. No, I'm not bored at all, Kalai. I actually like Civ. I played Civilization Revolution. That's my favorite Civ game.
Anyways, and you're supposed to expand your civilization. Now, of course, if you play against the AI, you have to kind of stagger that with how many people you put in the game. Like, I've played games for 12 hours with 5 friends, all of us in front of our computer, including V. And you have to decide, are you going to go be the conqueror? Are you going to take everybody's cities? Because there's different win conditions in the game. So you don't necessarily need to play the game one specific way. So if you're like a person that has to play a game a very, very specific way, and you have no other, concepts of having any other different ways to win a game, it's really not for you. But you first one to reach like nuclear power or go to the moon is a win condition. The conquering 5 civilizations is an actual win condition, which can be very difficult.
Yeah,
because you gotta
take a
wage war. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. It's so crazy that you brought that up because there's 2 games that I've just recently downloaded because I've just wanted to, they've been in the back of my mind for a long time. And that's XCOM and then Civilization. So I put them both on my Vita.
XCOM is hard.
That's what I hear. But I hear it's really good. I actually was listening to a podcast earlier in the week where guys were talking about how they kind of played the earlier PS1 versions of those games, and they would change all the people on there to their friends' names. Yep. And they were just telling stories about it. I was like, I've been meaning to play this for so long. And I was like, I can play this with my kids and we'll put them, everyone will have a person on there and we'll just kind of see what happens. Cause I believe it's also permadeath in there too, right? In XCOM. Yeah. Yeah. Not to derail it from what you're talking about. Cause in that same mind space, I was like, you know what? Games like XCOM and Civilization are games that I can just chip away at a little bit here and there as I anxiously await my Q light.
Well, good luck with that one, because Civ has the name of just one more term.
That's right. That's right. That's what I need. I need another reason why not to go to sleep at night.
And funny story, when Civ 3 came out, of course we bought it right away. We all did. Jim was really into it. One day, Sid Meier, the company behind him, had a contest. They put out a really hard scenario. If you followed the scenario and whoever beat the game the fastest or whatever would win a collector's edition signed by Sid Meier himself. So Jim sat down and Jim was like, oh, I'm going to play this. And like for weeks he worked on it. And the last night it was due, he was up till like 1:00 in the morning. I'm like, what are you doing? You're not going to win. I'm like, why are you up? You got to go to work the next day. He submitted the file. He was the only one that read the directions of the contest correctly and completed the scenario correctly. So I still have a signed copy of Civ 3 from Sid Meier.
That is so awesome.
And did you apologize to Jim for being wrong?
Hell no.
I was going to say, wait a second. That's not how it works with the ladies. They, even when they're wrong, they're right. And then when you think you got them licked, they change it up on you.
Whoa.
All right, Joe. If you're still awake, what was your first game?
My first game is
let's stop right
fix your
there.
microphone. We can't hear you.
My first game is an Xbox 360 game.
Okay.
I mean, I think it also came to PS3. It might have. I'm not sure.
Wait, let me guess. Is it called the Red Ring of Death?
No, asshole, it's not. But anyway,
I got last at Darrell and
no, I think they laughed because they called you an asshole. So it's called Monster Madness Battle for Suburbia. Ooh, and it's one of my favorite games. I don't know if anybody's played it. So basically, it's in the vein of one of my favorite games of all time, which is Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Oh.
And you play as four basically teenagers, and they have different abilities and different powers. And basically, you can craft things together in your environment and make better weapons as you play through the game. And it's really freaking cool. And it's all like 3D, and it's 4-player co-op on Xbox, that's what was really cool about Xbox, the 360 at the time, is they made a lot of 4-player online games.
Heck yeah.
Where you could play through, games with your friends. And I know Kalai loves that stuff, and I really like that stuff on the 360. I don't game much with people on PlayStation, but I gamed a lot with people on
Same here. It's wild how I play so differently between the two consoles. I mean, granted, one's got better games, but I mean, I just don't play with people like I did on the 360.
Yeah, so the game was really, really cool. It was really challenging in the end, and to get the
we can't hear you now. You moved your mic.
Oh, I'm sorry. To get the 100% in the game, it was really, really challenging.
It's almost like he's never podcasted before.
So it's crazy that you bring that up because I've never heard of that game, but that sounds really awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty rare game from what I know. I own it. I actually still own it physically in my closet. It's in my closet behind me.
That's dope.
I have a pretty dope Xbox 360 collection. I should actually show you guys one day.
What is it called again?
It's called Monster Madness Battle for Suburbia. And it was on 360. was only on 360 and Windows.
That's dope.
PC nerds got it. There you go.
Freaking nerds. All right. Tricky Mick, what you got for us?
Astrobot Rescue Mission.
That's
It's
a good one.
PlayStation VR game. It was one of the what my co-hosts like to call a tech demo. It wasn't a tech demo. It was actually a pretty good game. Got really introduced to Astrobot. It's kind of on the kiddie nature, but it's very well done. It doesn't take a lot to plat it. I just didn't plat it because I found out that there was a spider boss and I stopped. But really quality game. If you have a PlayStation VR, it's definitely worth a pickup.
Heck yeah, dude.
The original PSVR?
Yes.
The one that it got us together?
Yes, that's how me and Kalai met. Kalai came out to a GameStop to meet me when I was hired to be a celebrity.
Boy, she regrets that ever since.
Who in the blue hell hired you as a celebrity?
Stack Up.
GameStop.
No,
it's Stack Up.
Stack Up.
Yep. So
wait, is that the one that Roberto works for?
Yes.
Damn, it's like full circle.
That's how I met Roberto.
Was he also at that event?
No.
I don't think he was at the event. No. I met him through Stephanie, who was at the time with Stack Up. But I'm gonna stop saying that name because we had kind of have a falling out.
Of course you did. It wouldn't be a Tricky Mick story if it didn't end in controversy.
Well, no, I later found out that I'm not trying to talk shit, but I heard through the grapevine that the charity wasn't on the up and up.
And that tends, there's always a bad apple in a charity somewhere. So, all right, I have a list, and I would argue, I would not, without seeing his list, I bet you Thomas and I brought a similar amount of games to the table because he named 7 games off the rip. I think I've got 10 or 12 over here, and I'm pretty married and committed to all of them. So I'm going to just pull the first 3 as we go through this, and you can see where the rest lands. But I tried to find things that are accessible that I wanted to talk about, and things that are true to Resident Darrell, like things that you were like, okay, yeah, I'm not mentioning any Resident Evil tonight, no Silent Hill, nothing like that. But
that's a surprise.
You want to give a special shout out to my man T Diddy over here. He hooked me up with a game that is so special to me. We made after the podcast recording the other night. He pitched me.
I thought you were about to say you made love to it.
I mean, not yet, but it is Pride Month. There's time. Just saying. Everybody's got to let their freak flag hang this month. So he reached out to me after the show and said, "Hey, I've got a proposition for you. Not sexual yet. It was May, not June." And so he's like, "Hey, I want to make a trade. I want to make a trade." And part of this trade deal was one of my favorite games of all time. It is Def Jam Vendetta. And immediately after we made this trade deal, I grabbed the copy of it, ran to my brother's house, and for his birthday this past Sunday, we had a retro gaming night. So we brought out the GameCube and grabbed my kids, brought them over, and we all sat in front of the TV and beat the snot out of each other on some Def Jam Vendetta. Now, granted, this is not a super accessible game by today's standards. If you want to play it on any type of current hardware, you're going to have to emulate it. It's a PS2 GameCube game. It came out in 2003. It is a pro wrestling / Street Fighter-esque type of game. It is very unique when it comes to the fighting genre. It's a wrestling game, but it's also kind of a more stand-up and box and fight game. And it's got really cool grapple moves and really over-the-top specials. And it's filled with a cast of hip-hop artists. So DMX, Method Man, Redman, Ludacris, Nor, Capone, Scarface, Ghostface Killer, Keith Murray. Dude, there's so much good stuff on there. And the best part, this is the sell right here, guys. This is the whole point of us getting together tonight. There's a character in the game that he's one of the default characters you kind of start off with before you unlock everybody. And if you hold his punch and grapple buttons together, he will drop down to his knee and he will punch you in the nuts. And every character has said power punch move. And something my brother and I did to my son that we did to our friends when they would come over when we were younger playing this game is he would be Ghostface and he would drop to a knee and do like a kidney punch, and it would stun you. And then I would run over with Manny and punch you in the nuts. And as you fell with the nut punch, he would stun you again with the kidney punch. And then I would nut punch you. And guys, we were laughing to the point of tears because my son couldn't move. He was stuck in this stun lock, getting his nuts punched over and over. And
But you bullied your son and you're proud of it.
Oh my gosh, dude. So it was me, my two boys, my daughter, my wife, and my sister-in-law and my brother. And my wife and my sister-in-law are talking because they're actually being induced in the morning for their first child. So it is like, final stretch last week, baby's, getting ready to be here. So they're doing all this serious talk and all this bull crap. And we're like 6 feet in front of them, punching each other in the nuts incessantly and laughing to the point of tears. And what's so funny is my son can't get out of it. And he's hysterical. Like he's laughing so much. Guys, it's just dumb fun. Like it is such a fun fighting game. It is a fun beat 'em up. It is a fun just punch your friend in the nuts and have a blast. And this was an EA published game. So this is back when when EA had their was it Big was the developer or Big was the publishing arm. Either way, guys, this is back when EA put out the bangers, and this is just one of my all-time favorites. So shout out to T Diddy for the amazing deal that we worked out, but also, my God, the amount of fun we've had with this game already. This is a game that I didn't have in my collection and desperately needed. I've got the PS2 version of it, but like I don't have a multi-tap. You can only do 2 players without the multi-tap. The GameCube, for people ready to rock and roll. GameCube's just a very special place for me to. I love GameCube anyways. So highly recommend it if you can get your hands on a backwards compatible Wii with the GameCube, controller ports, PS2, GameCube, or if you want to just get a Dolphin emulator and play it on PC, play Def Jam Vendetta. It's a lot of fun.
Isn't Dolphin taboo now?
I don't know. I'm just saying things.
Nintendo's going to come after you.
No, we're probably going to get struck now.
Yeah.
All right, T Diddy, you're back up.
Okay, I want to pay love and homage and respect to the Dreamcast. So I'm going to think of one of my favorite Dreamcast games that a lot of people don't know, and it's also a reference to anime, which is Sword of the Berserk, Guts Rage. Now, this takes place, it's a side story of the Sword of the Berserk, or Berserk. And for those who are not familiar with this wonderful anime, unfortunately, the creator died in 2021. RIP. I'm sorry, I have a hard time pronouncing your name, so I'm not going to pronounce it. I don't want to be disrespectful. But the story is Guts is wandering, as he always does, and he comes across some carnival people. And these carnival people are being harassed by just bandits in general. So Guts, being Guts, just decides to waste them with the Dragon Slayer, which is a big metal steel hunk on his back. And he has Puck with him, which is a fairy. Again, you have to watch the anime. The original anime from the 90s is the best one. You can watch the new stuff in the OVA movies. Those kind of suck, but you need to watch. You only have to watch Berserk in order to get this side story. It's just a good story, and then it has all this back stuff to go with it. But long story short, you do this fight, and the circus performers say, "Hey, come with us to the town." And he's like, Guts being Guts, it's like, "No, I don't want to come to the town." And he's like, and then Puck convinces him, it's like, "Oh, Guts, we need supplies." It's like, "Fine." So they go to the town, and the circus performers perform, and then this one big guy who hops out of the crate or out of the cart starts performing, and then his little helmet or something comes off, and he has a Mandalorian on him, which is like a kind of like a succubus or something. And so of course all the town people start beating on him, and then he becomes angry, and so then Guts has to kill him. And then the count of the town comes, and the count is like, "Hey man, you're big and strong. I got a proposition for you." And so he goes to the castle. His girl Casca is like traumatized. I can't tell you why. You have to watch the show or, just play the game. But she's catatonic, more or less. And or special needs, if you're not familiar with that. And so she, they can all go to the thing and it says, hey, I can fix your girl and get her back to normal if you go in and kill one of these Mandalorians, or I'm probably saying it incorrectly, but I'm pretty sure that's right. And I need you to kill it because it heals people and it can heal her. So of course he goes and does what he's kind of supposed to, and then all FUCK breaks loose, or all HELL breaks loose. And
I don't think I've ever heard a turn of the phrase. Sorry, go ahead.
The game is really good for what it does. Now, here's the thing: is it takes physics. This is from the people who made the WWE games for the Dreamcast, which is the WWE Royal Rumble game for the Dreamcast. From it's Yoinks, if I'm saying it correctly.
Yes.
General, am I saying it correctly?
Ukes.
Okay, so it's Ukes. And the physics of the sword are correct, because if you hit the sword against a wall, or if you hit the sword against like the background, it automatically just goes boom. And so, in other words, you're not going to get a clean swing. So they do all these things amazingly well. Ukes does, and this is before they started making certain wrestling games. And then also they actually did the quick time events. I looked this up. They actually did the quick time events before Shimu did, if you're familiar with Shimu for Dreamcast lovers. But they actually
Great game.
Unbelievably great game. I actually had the Japanese imports for that. I loved it that much. But they actually were doing quick time events before Shimu was. And for those who aren't familiar with quick time events, it's like when you have like a cutscene and it tells you to press B, or it tells you to do something else. So it's one of those things that's really cool. But I think Yoinks, or I'm just gonna call them Yoinks.
Go for it.
It's Ukes.
Ukes, Yoinks, whatever. I think the story's good for it. It actually has the soundtrack from the movies, from the actual anime. And if you love the anime of Berserk and you've never played that, hopefully I'll leave it at this. It is worth playing if you're a fan of Sword of the Berserk. If you're a fan of Berserk, even if you're not a fan of Berserk, it's a good standalone story. And if you never even watched the anime or played the other games, it's definitely worth your time. Sword of the Berserk, Guts Rage.
Nice. All right, Matt, you're back up.
Hold on a second, Matt. What was that game? T Diddy.
Sword of the Berserk, Guts Rage.
Okay, good. I want to mark that down so I don't have to play it anymore, since I know what happened.
Tricky is like all sorts of sour and angry and
hating going on. Y'all drank some haterade before the show tonight.
We're trying to have a good time, and Tricky's just out there being hurtful.
Hold on a second. Can I defend myself for a second here?
No, Matt.
No, you're indefensible in all ways, shapes, and forms.
You've got on the show and defended yourself the first hour, and we're out of defense now.
Normally, when I'm on a podcast, I'm the host. I'm being professional. This is like letting me let loose. So I'm just having.
Nobody expects or thinks that you're professional.
When I'm in my house, I don't put my feet on the couch. But you know what? I'm in your house. I'm putting my feet all over your couch.
I'm putting my feet all over
your couch.
I should have never gave you any money.
So my safe assumption would be most people like games like Double Dragon, Final Fight, Streets of Rage, right?
Yes. Masterpieces.
Square Boy Bully Pants.
So
got that plat.
I'm not certain what you're talking about, Tricky, but that's no different than normal.
It's a right game.
So game back on the Genesis, Cyborg Justice.
Okay. I've never heard of that one.
It's a co-op game in the see Tiddy's shaking his head. Yep. He knows what I'm talking about. Co-op style game, just like I mentioned, Battletoads, Streets of Rage, Double Dragon, where you get to build your cyborg. So it's split between legs, torso, and arms. You can get legs that help you jump farther, or legs that make you impossible to lift up, torsos that provide different power levels. You can get different arms like the punching arm or the laser arm or the saw blade arm, or my personal favorite, the flamethrower arm. So the story is not serviceable. It's not a great story to begin with, but one of those games have to be. So as you're playing along, you come against other cyborgs, and they're just procedurally generated. Which for the time was actually kind of neat. And what was cool was, as you're fighting, you can rip parts off of the other cyborgs and replace your arms or legs or torso with the parts that you got from them. So let's say your hit points are running low and you rip the torso off of another cyborg. You can then consume that to feed life back into your hit points. Or let's say you're coming up on a particular section that a type of arm is going to help you. You rip that arm off the cyborg, replace it on yours. Now you have a saw blade. Or a particular jumping section is coming up. You rip off the legs off of a cyborg and replace your own, so that way you can make the jumps you need to. And more importantly, was this game had a versus mode where you could fight players 1 and 2 against each other. So it also was kind of like a fighting game. So that's the next suggestion I make. It's a fun little brawler, and with the ability to customize as early as it was back in the Genesis days, it really gave some replayability to how you played the game.
That's dope, man. That sounds awesome. So heck yeah. All right, Kalai, you're up.
What about Tricky?
You're not next.
Okay. I'm going to. I don't think Tricky has done one game yet.
Yes, he has.
What game?
Tricky had so much to say about Thomas's suggestions. He got everything out he needed to.
That's what happens when you just talk crap all the time. You get put in time out. Tricky. Anyways, Kalai, you're number 2.
The game that I want to go with, I know that
it's a free game you get off Game Pass.
Maybe, how do you know it's on Game Pass?
Because that's the only way you buy games on Xbox is with Game Pass, because you get it for free.
Again, Tricky's trying to be hurtful. Kalai, your game, please.
I know. My first game I chose was I played on PC.
Oh, man.
And it's not on Game Pass, so I was very confused. The second game I'm going to talk about, is primarily on the Switch. It has come to PlayStation and Xbox. And I know several people have played it here, but I still think it's worth a mention. And that is the Monster Hunter series. That game just changed my life and the way I look at video games. Tricky is now going to the kitchen.
If we get the play-by-play.
The rare breed of Tricky has entered the kitchen.
Now, here's a question, Kalai, before you get too deep into it, because I know you mentioned the franchise. Where did you start with Monster Hunter? Did you play the games that are on like 3DS or DS, 3DS, and PSP?
I actually started in the Wii U. When the Wii U and 3DS, I wasn't that good at it. And so I was a little discouraged, and so was Jim. What I like about the Monster Hunter series is the co-op and how wonderful the co-op is. I mean, it's a game that if you truly are into co-op and you start to understand the game and you start to play with people, it's probably one of the best co-op experiences I have ever had. The community is fantastic. I very rarely see toxicity in the Monster Hunter community. It does happen. I've seen it once or twice. But you have people that are huge, max level, 999, that will come over in Japan, will come help you play and help you beat monsters that you're trying to, just to help you beat you. Help beat you. Beat the game. Beat the monster. It's getting late. So for me, I think it's just a fantastic game. It's a very simple hook. You kill the monster, you get the loot, you make better weapons, better armor, you go after the next monster. And I really I keep going back to the game over and over and over again. And there's not a lot of games that I do that to. But, I mean, Matt will agree with me, I'm sure, because Matt was one of the big components of me learning how to play this game. And it was Monster Hunter World. I bought Monster Hunter World on PlayStation to play with Corey and to play with Joe. And those knuckleheads never played with me, and I didn't get very far. And I rebought it for the PC because Matt's like, I'm going to be playing it on PC. And Jim was like, no, the game's stupid. Don't play it. I'm like, no. He's like, I can't believe you're going to rebuy it. I'm like, it's going to be different this time. I put 400 hours into that game. I convinced Jim to start playing with us. Oh my God, he has another 300 hours in the game. We just had so much fun. And hours, Matt, me, and other friends of ours would sit on Discord and just hunt monsters and play.
300, 400. Those are rookie numbers. You got to pump those numbers up, Kalai.
My bad. I gotta get back into Monster Hunter on the Switch. When the new one came to Switch, I bought it on Switch.
No, movie like me from your nose.
You talked a lot about the co-op, and I played with my boys with World. I owned several of these games on PSP, and I think one of them I even own a PSP version, like you Hunters United 3 or some bullcrap like that. God, it's so freaking hard, dude. But man, playing those games co-op is such a convoluted co-op system. Like to get in and out of making a game happen. Like I couldn't do it. I couldn't stick with it. It was because you would go in World, you would go to play a match together. You would have to beat the level or beat up to a certain point. You had to watch all the cutscenes. You couldn't just join in with someone who was higher than you or to do an expedition or something with them without going to a certain point. And it seemed, and maybe I just don't understand because I didn't play enough. It seemed a little frustrating to get in and out of matches with people.
It really depends because Monster Hunter is a type of game. It's not like your typical game where you expect to go into a match. The one thing World did very well is the co-op version. So the co-op of the storyline. So if you wanted to play the storyline with your son, you could. You'd have to watch the cutscenes together, but you could. Me and Jim played the entire co-op, but it's a heavy Bandai Namco RPG in the fact that the game doesn't really start till you beat the game. Once you get past all of the storyline, which the storyline in Worlds was maybe 10 hours, I want to say. Maybe a little bit more. I can't really remember. Once you get past that, then jumping into matches is much easier. You just have to be certain ranks or you have to beat certain monsters to do certain things. It's a lot to learn because the systems aren't easily explained. It's a lot to learn. Matt had to teach me a lot. Matt taught me a lot.
Yeah, so main story, 47 and a half hours.
Okay, I was a little off.
Just a few. Awesome.
But again, that's a game that we put 700-800 hours in. So 40 hours out of that is a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, I get it. And my son and his friends played a ton. I just felt like it was because he was farther than me. We didn't do it in unison. So for someone who's farther than you in the game, it was very complicated. Or we would get, okay, here's our little 2 or 3 hour stretch of time to play games together. And we jump in, it's like, all right, I have to do this section first. And then you can come in. So I'm not knocking on the game because once we were playing, it was fun. And we had a good time. But I didn't really gravitate to the series because I felt like it was very Dark Souls in the sense of playing with people was difficult. Once you got in with them, it was fun. But like, you know, you just couldn't go in a lobby and just start a match together and just play.
Yeah, Capcom has made some strange decisions when it came to playing with each other, and a lot of people complained, and they have their artistic vision of why they chose the way they did. But ultimately, like Kalai said, get through the story, get through the frustrating part, and then now you're on to the actual game part of it, and it's amazing.
Heck yeah. That's awesome. All right, Joe, you're up.
Oh man, I had to have a Capri Sun and some Fritos because I'm fucking dying over here. It's fucking hot here.
Yeah, you look like you're in some sort of prison, like you're being tortured.
Literally, dude, it's fucking like it's 81 degrees outside. It's like 78 degrees outside right now. It's like 90 in my game room right now. 90. So it's really, really nasty. And I have a PS5 going, a computer going, a Switch going. It's hot. It's hot in here.
That Switch is heating up the room.
Bro, it's getting hot in here.
Just take off all your clothes. All right, tell us about your next game.
Oh man, fuck. There's so many.
I don't know about that game.
There's so many you can pick from. Oh man, this is so tough.
You're supposed to pick games that you think that none of us actually played before.
I mean, I could go with Zelda. You know, Tricky's never played that.
Define playing it. Hey, to be fair, I've played less of the Zeldas than Tricky has. The Zeldas, yeah, you like to play off the tongue.
What are you, like an old man? The Zeldases.
Yeah,
I play the Zeldases.
Look, I played the Zelda on NES over and over and over, and I didn't like it. And then I played the Zelda on the Nintendo 64, and I didn't like it. And then I played the Zelda on the Switch, and I really didn't like it. I have no love for the Zelda. So at least Tricky has the shield. That's more gooder.
It's more bester.
More better good.
It's better, it's good. It's like log.
That's right.
Oh man. I got a nice hidden gem that I like. It's called Penny Punching Princess. It's made by Atlas.
Ooh.
Or Lupanichi Software. And it's a fucking great game. And you're like this princess, and the world gets taken over by demons, and basically you can bribe them with money, and it's awesome. So like you pay to like bribe monsters and shit, and then you turn them against the other monsters, and you use them to kill other monsters. It's a really fun little game, and it's a top down, like isometric kind of like game where you just run around punching the shit out of things.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I think it was on Vita too, if I remember.
Whoa! You said the V word.
Maybe look it up, Darrell. I could be wrong.
Doesn't sound familiar, but I'll look it up.
It sounds like a Vita-esque game to me. Like I know Nippon Ichi did put a lot of stuff out on Vita in the beginning. I'm not sure if this one actually made it to Vita, but I got it for like $3 on the Switch, and I'm playing the shit out of it. And then if I have to pick another game, just because we're running long. This game called Poison Control is really cool. It's like this Japanese game where basically you kind of like you have to like rid the world of like poison and like control the rooms. So like you go around and like you like spray this gun basically. It's kind of like Galgun in a way where it's kind of like a on rails kind of shooter, but not really. It's more like third person. But you use up like this meter and like you spray the rooms and you get rid of all the poison in the room, and you like help all the people and like you get rid of their worries and their doubts and stuff. It's a pretty cool fucking Japanese game. T Diddy, I think it's something you would look into. It goes on sale a lot on PlayStation Network.
Penny Punching Princess is
Galgun 1 and 2. They're both amazing.
You said it is on Vita?
Yes, it is. $40, but it's there.
Guess who's looking up a copy? Guess who's trying to find a copy now?
Don't tell me with a good time. So.
But yeah, those are my two for right now. I guess who's going to next? Tricky.
Yeah, Tricky. Tricky gets
second one.
Now that he's not talking junk, he gets to talk about his second game. He's muted.
I'm not muted. I just wasn't using my voice. I won't say another word.
I got him.
Moss, another VR game.
That's nice.
It's a quality game. Very well done. I haven't played the sequel yet because unfortunately I took down my VR before Moss 2 came out. But I might just wait until I buy VR 2 to play Moss and Moss 2 again. Very, very good game. Very well done. Again, I know the VR gets a lot of hate for having a lot of tech demos. Again, this was not a tech demo. This was a quality game from ground up, and it was very well played. I won't spoil anything for you because that's not who I am. So we'll just move on now,
dude. I played some Moss.
Quality game.
It is really, really awesome. So as far as a perspective goes, you are like, I don't want to say you're like a god character, but you are like this. You're overseeing the world as it happens, and you're using your controller to control the little mouse guy, Moss, and you go kind of in a side scroll. I'd say 2.5D probably is the best way to describe it. As you're going back and forth through the map and crawling in and out of things, like you have to look around the environment to actually see where your character is at, and it's awesome. Like it's very, very cool. Now, everybody who's listened to the show for any amount of time knows I'm a big giant freaking wiener, and I get motion sick very easy. Unfortunately, I can't play VR very long. So it kind of works out for the amount of time I play games anyways. But I played a little bit of Moss, and I think it is extremely quality and very, very awesome from what I played.
What I do like about Moss is the fact that, a lot of games, like other games do this as well, but Moss gives you the sensibility of how small you are, because in the background, you'll see like a deer run across the background, or you'll see like a tree or something like that, and unless you're looking for it, it doesn't really dawn on you what it is. But then it gives you a sensibility. It's like, oh well, I'm not playing as like a 6-foot mouse. This is a real size mouse, and you're watching the environment around you, and it's very well done.
That's awesome. So all right, that would be, I'm up next. I almost gave it over to T Diddy. So again, I picked a couple games that were kind of in the same genre, and in my head I was like, I kind of want to separate things by system, separate it by genre, not stick to the same old stuff. But there's a game that I've mentioned multiple times on this show that it needs love. It just doesn't get enough, and that is Killer is Dead. Third person. I saw that. Third person action adventure slasher. Look at my boy over there with the Killer's Dead Special Edition on 360. I have that sealed.
You know what's really funny about that game, Darrell, is that's not a Suda game, correct?
It is.
Is it a Suda game?
Yeah,
I couldn't remember if it was or it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I fucking love Suda games, and I bought that like the day it came out.
Yes. So I didn't know this game was coming out back when it came out, and I picked up the art book, like a GameStop copy with the art book and everything. And I was like, this is wild. But I never finished it. You know how I do. I'll put in a game in, play it for a little bit. Oh, this is really awesome. Move on to the next thing. One day I'll go back. That one day came, but it was on PlayStation 3. I was sitting at my old house in the den, and the kids were they were much younger, and they were kind of crawling around the house doing their own thing. We were playing Minecraft. And I had my little PlayStation 3D TV set up on the coffee table with my PlayStation 3. Did I say PlayStation 3 TV? It's 3D TV. I don't know if you guys remember they had the 3D TV or whatever. Anyways, and I put it in and I played it, and I was so freaking hooked. I played it through the hardest difficulty, got the platinum. One of my proudest plats. Just such a unique. The art style is so wild. Like, it's just, there's something about those Grasshopper games, the Suda games. Those art styles are so, they're colorful, but yet they're also flat. Like there'll be a monster. They meld these like fantasy and dark, almost horror kind of like themes all together. They mash all together. And hey, for all you Japanime nerds out there, there's a lot of anime sensibilities in this game. And T Diddy, but it was so incredibly good. The gameplay is so fast, so fluid, and it's so fun that it's one of those games where you put it in, and it's like I didn't really have any preconceived notions outside of, I played on 360 for a little bit and really liked it, but then I just fell in love and couldn't put it down. And again, that's one of those games that like I constantly think about. You guys, you heard me say, the Resident Evils, Parasite Eves, things like that. But that Killer is Dead stays up there in my mind as a game that like people need to play this. This should be much bigger than it was, in my opinion. So, very excellent game. T Diddy, give us your third game.
Well, my third game has a lot to do with the Resident Darrell YouTube channel, which you just recently posted some of your pickups, and you had recently posted that on the Resident Darrell YouTube show that you got Enter the Matrix for the GameCube. Now, a lot of people don't realize this. In order to enjoy the Matrix 2 Reloaded, which is the second Matrix movie, I'm sure everybody here has watched all the Matrix movies, you need to play this game because this game actually leads up into actual what the story is going on. So everything makes sense within the story if you've actually played this game before you go see Matrix 2, or if you've already seen the Matrix 2 Reloaded, you can actually play this game and it'll tell you things that you didn't understand that were going on in the story itself. Great bullet time. The two characters, Jada Smith's character, which was originally supposed to be Aaliyah's character, God rest her soul, what an amazing, beautiful woman.
Back when she had hair.
Oh, she's so beautiful. Yes, that's back when Jada Pinkett Smith had hair.
That was when Jada was in a new metal band, too.
Yes, that's correct.
That thing was trash.
But this movie / game was so awesome. Two good characters, and all this led up into the Matrix 2. Good story. I'm not going to ruin it since Trickymic doesn't like me to give away any stories, but the gameplay was awesome. I love the fact that you can run off the walls and kick people in the head. I love the fact that there's just certain techniques that you can do within the game. It's a 2-disc game for those who are not familiar with it for the GameCube. And shout out to the Resident Darrell's YouTube channel for posting that, because that's actually was one of the games I was going to use.
Dude, I really, really like that game, and I have it on PS2 and GameCube now. And dude, that was one of those games that it was like, oh, here's a movie tie-in game. They're usually mid-level, subpar games. Bro, I freaking loved that game. That was so much fun. And like you said, running up the wall and kicking people in the face. When you did that the first time, I was like, mind blown. All right, Matt, give us your third, and we'll call it final game for the night.
Damn, I had so many other choices then.
We'll have to do this again because we're running so long and there was so much trash talk early in the show, Tricky.
All right.
Don't blame me.
Darrell, pick a number. 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7.
4. Let's go.
4. So PlayStation, I wasn't huge into RPGs, but after the whirlwind that was Final Fantasy VII, I was looking for my next big thing, and I played a game called Legend of Legaia. So this was an RPG. I forget who made it, but it was a little different than the standard RPGs turn-based at the time. So you played, the chosen one out of a small village, and this mist envelops the land and it results in people turning into these monsters. And you get a entity, we'll call it, that can reactivate trees that clear the mists. Well, the entity has a name and speaks to you and teaches you about the land, and you go adventuring and you meet up with 2 other chosen ones who get their own entities. And it's all kind of like element based. You get a fire one first, then there's earth, then there's lightning. And as you evolve these entities, their ultimate attacks change into different things. And very much in the Final Fantasy in that form factor, these big bombastic super attacks, the fire entity meta comes down in this giant armor that takes a huge sword and smashes it on the enemy, and it's great. But the cool thing about this game was the actual combat, where instead of just having attack spells and items, you actually had to input commands to do your attack. So for instance, you can attack high, mid, or low. And when you enter a particular combo, it does a special attack, like a somersault flip kick or something. So depending on the type of enemy, you had to strategically use certain types of attacks that were more effective. So the combat system was great. The design and art style was on par, I believe, with what Final Fantasy VII was.
Which system is this, by the way? Because I think I played this game.
PlayStation
1 or 2?
1.
Okay, I played it.
Yeah, it was a multi-disc, and it was really neat. The music was good, and the combat system kind of set it aside, different from what the other RPGs
and
were
it's
doing.
made by PlayStation themselves, correct?
I don't think so. I'd have to go look and see. And like I said, the story was serviceable. It was made by. Yeah, no, it was published by Sony. It was developed by Procyon. I don't know who that is. But the combat is what really made it for me. And it had some pretty cool attacks. There was this ultimate attack called the Juggernaut, which was a giant horned being that when the attack happened, first this black hole opens and this giant claw comes out and strikes the enemies. Then a second claw comes out, and then finally this giant black hole opens and the Juggernaut's head comes through and just does like an ultimate Bahamut blast, taking everybody out. It was a really cool thing to get. So again, I wasn't huge into RPGs, but this one just spoke to me because of the combo system.
And that name one more time?
Legend of Legaia.
Legaia.
Yep.
Didn't that just come out on PlayStation Network?
That was Legend of Dragoon.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
My hand was made of Laffy Taffy.
Yeah,
Shut up, Charles. I hit you with Charles. So yeah, that's awesome. I've never played that game, but it is a game I've heard about several times. My brother, he might have played that in front of me when we were younger. He was a huge Legend of Dragoon fan, so I do remember that game pretty vividly, but I don't remember if we played. I can see the cover of Legend of Legaia in my brain. I just don't know that. I just don't know if I've ever watched him play that one. So it's pretty dope. Pretty dope. All right, Kalai, your third and final game for the night.
Well, it's a little game. Started out on the PS3 360. Called Skyrim.
I played on everything.
No, I'm kidding. I'm gonna go with DQM2. Known as Dragon Quest Monster 2.
Okay.
It's a really cute game. I played a lot of it with my friends on the DS. Big surprise, Tricky. It's not on Game Pass.
Dang, throwing shade.
Oh, suck it, Tricky.
And you basically fought with monsters. You collected monsters and you bred monsters. And I just really like the concept. I like that concept of
breeding.
Breeding. Exactly. It was like a different version of Pokemon, except it wasn't about cute little animals.
Sucks we never got the other ones in the States. They made so many of them, like Terry's World, which never came over here. There's a few more that never came over here too. Ugh. Did you play Monster Hunter? Fucking A. Did you play Dragon Quest Monsters? Because it's similar. Did you play Dragon Quest Treasures yet, Kalai?
No.
It's very similar to the same game style. Man, I'm so fucking hot in here. Damn it.
He's legit taking his clothes off, ladies and gentlemen. It's
Raging
happening.
fucking inferno in here. I'm about to.
So, Kalai, is there anything else you wanted to say about that game?
No, it came out in 2011, which was like a long time ago for me, so I barely remember it. I just remember it being fun and me playing the hell out of it.
That was on DS, right? DS?
Yeah, it was on DS. Yeah.
That was Joker, right? Was that Joker?
Yeah, that was Joker.
Yeah, I fucking love that game too. Yeah, play Treasures. Play Treasures. It has the same style of gameplay, Kalai. And it's on the Switch.
Very nice. Very nice. Awesome. All right, Joe.
My last one's Capri Sun. Shout out to Capri Sun.
Dang, that's the game that all the kids play after soccer.
Fucking yeah, I'm liquid cool right now. All right, I'm gonna go with one of my favorite game series of all time. I know I talk about this series a lot. Still, no, Ani fucking no, it's not Onimusha.
Nah.
It's too easy. I don't know. There's so many. I would love to pick like an obscure PlayStation RPG because those are always great to pick. But I'm gonna go with like
Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga.
No, I'm gonna go with Disgaea because I love Disgaea, and more people should play Disgaea. And Kalai knows the greatness that is Disgaea. It's an amazing franchise. If you like Final Fantasy Tactics, you'll like it. It's turn-based, but it's fucking on crack. And you literally like, there's like your guys can go up to like level 9,999. There's tons of stuff to do in the game. It's really nice. It's made by a company called Nippon Ichi Software, or NIS America at this point. And they are an amazing developer, and they make great games, and you should go buy them when they come out. Like Tricky says, yeah, those developers, that company, I support whenever they make a game because I know it's very limited quantity, and you're not going to be able to find it if you don't buy it.
Isn't there like a Disgaea fighting game? I have a Disgaea game, and I thought it was a.
I can't remember the fucking
fighter.
name of it. Yeah, there is a fighter, and I can't remember the name of it. I know what you're talking about. There's also Prinny. The Prinny games are really cool if you haven't played those. It's like they take the character of the Prinnies, and then
The Dot Hack has a fighting game.
Yes, it does, and it's not very good.
Nope.
But Dot Hack's fucking awesome too. We could have talked about Dot Hack for an hour. Those
1, 2, and 3.
Those 4 games are phenomenal. No, I'm talking about OG, not this college crap. I like the OG versions with Quarantine and Mutation and all the fucking crazy DVDs they came with that are worth a lot of fucking money now. If you have those games and you have the game and the DVD disc, you can make some money. You can make a mint. Darrell, look out for some Dot Hack games, bro. But Disgaea is awesome, and you can play most of them on the Switch now, which is really cool. And I believe most of them are on the Vita as well.
Whoa, saying the V word again.
Yeah, the V word's getting dropped a lot, man. Nippon Ichi supported the Vita, I'm telling you. They're big. Yeah. Japanese RPGs were definitely a mainstay on the Vita. I'm fucking hot in here. Jesus.
Yes, we understand. We know that you are very hot. All right, Tricky, your third and final game.
Can I ask a question to be tricky?
Sure.
And I'm not being facetious. I'm not trying to be stuff. I really actually have. I'm curious. Why are you sitting there with a cigarette in your mouth? You have not lit that thing.
That's how he goes without smoking it, though. He just has to have it. Like
that's right. Sometimes he's just got to put it in his mouth.
Don't point to me. You just like putting things in your mouth.
Put it in my mouth.
Oh no, bro! This chick, my wife used to be friends with, grew up with. She would walk through the freaking hallways in high school and sing that song. Yeah, she would sing that song, dude, and it's just one of those things that like burned in my brain. I'm like, if I hear it, I see her, and I'm immediately appalled. I was like, ah.
Okay, Matt G, this game fucking sucks.
Yes. Yeah.
So you put a total of 3 hours into it?
The hate flow through you.
No, our episode isn't that long, I don't think.
Not yet. It will be.
Pro controller? What are you playing with?
Mike. Joe. Your mic.
Because I'm fucking eating Fritos, so I moved the mic away from my mouth.
Oh my gosh. He's eating Fritos and touching his controller, ladies
Professional
and gentlemen.
podcaster.
This is a train wreck tonight.
Tricky.
Right, Tricky, what is your third and final game?
It's definitely not fucking Tears of the Kingdom. Get the fuck away from me, you piece of shit!
I want to watch you stream this game, and I'll just donate money to keep you playing it.
You were in the first stream I was doing with this, and then I was talking to you, and then Joe just...
Oh, yeah, I was watching you miserably fail, and I wasn't about to give you any advice. I was like, I want to watch him squirm for a little bit.
I was trying to fix the fucking graphics, because they fucking suck.
Can't fix it's a fucking game. Like, calm down with your elitist attitude.
We've treaded this ground multiple times before. Tricky, third and final game.
Final game.
Wanted Weapons of Fate.
God, that's a freaking good game.
Great game.
That's a good game.
A very underappreciated movie, by the way.
Extremely underappreciated. They're supposed to make sequels, and they never did.
That's when Jolie was at the top of her game, man.
Listen.
Was she ever at the bottom of her game, though?
The curving of the bullets was fucking phenomenal.
What a cool idea.
So what was that, Matt?
On the bottom of something.
It's no stranglehold, but come on, it's a good game.
Dude.
I won't spoil it for you, but you are wanted.
God, that game was awesome. I played that on Xbox 360 and freaking loved it. I think I own it on PS3, but I don't think I've ever played it there.
Matt,
It
after
doesn't have trophies.
you're going to explain to me how the fuck to get to this temple, because there's no fucking way to get to this temple.
Are you streaming it after this?
I will help you, Tricky, but with only the caveat to understand that obviously I know more about Zelda than you do.
That's right.
You don't, because there's no fucking way to get to this temple. You're not going to convince me that there's a fucking way to get to this temple.
Tricky, the fact that you are letting that game whip you so bad and Shang just strong arming my episode of this.
Oh wait, hold on, wait.
Podcast.
Are you trying to get to the one in the cold?
You know how much Zelda I'm gonna have to edit out of this show?
No,
like it's gonna be ridiculous.
About as much as Zack Snyder, you have to.
Wait, hold on, Tricky. Are you trying to get to the one that's in the frozen land?
Zack Snyder.
No.
Which one are you trying to get to?
I listen to the podcast. There's just extra Zack Snyder. So I go, wait, we didn't talk about that.
Dude, I'm going to have to go in and friggin' dub over as Zack Snyder talk. All right, here is my third and final game so we can GTFO.
I thought you already did your
Dude,
third.
you picked like 7 games.
I've talked about 2 games.
Talking about like
I've talked 2 games.
You got the T Diddy disease and talking about multiple games.
T Diddy disease.
And then tell me what games I've talked about.
Oh
Tricky.
my god!
Oh my god! He has a fucking list that he checks off. This guy comes prepared.
That's right.
Wait, was there a Splinter Cell game on there?
There is a Splinter Cell game on there, and it is Conviction on Xbox 360. It is an exclusive back when Xbox actually put forth the effort to give people a reason to come to their platform. And it is not only good, it is great. It is the best Splinter Cell game. Has an amazing story, excellent gameplay, but one of the coolest things about it, one of the things that blew my mind as soon as I started, because I love Splinter Cell. I've played all the Splinter Cells. When you start the game off, all of the text and all the things that are being told to you and the like things progressing you in the quote, tutorial prologue area, whatever. It's written. Look at my man over there rocking the game. It's written on the scenery. So it'll be like, move forward, go check the bathroom, whatever, as the story cues, and it's written on the wall or it's written on the stone that you're hiding behind, you're taking cover on. And it is just, as far as like art direction goes, it was amazing. It was super, super freaking cool. I love Splinter Cell Conviction, but the best part was the multiplayer, because the multiplayer was the spies versus mercs. And look at as TD shaking his head, he knows, man, you could do co-op multiplayer, and it would be two assassins that would infiltrate an area. You could hang from the rafters. You could be climbing down from the ceiling. You could do all these things, and you can tag multiple enemies. And then once you build up your little power meter to each other, you can initiate like a group assassination, and then boom, start taking out multiple targets at the same time. Oh, look at him.
I got that as well.
Some Bell Wonderland.
Daryl, I actually was going to bring you something special, and now it's even going to be more special because I didn't think you would actually care about this because you're a big Splinter Cell fan like I am. This is the Splinter Cell Chaos Theory.
Oh my god!
Only giving to people who were either managers or big deal at GameStop.
That is awesome.
Show. Now listen, this is not the normal one because the normal one's a smaller case. This is actually the big case. If I can open it up, and as you can see, it's huge. It is mad awesome. Huge. Plus, the Chaos Theory demo that's not for resale, and it even says on it, not for sale. So that was actually coming to you tomorrow when we meet up.
Oh my gosh.
So that even makes it that much more special because it was going to be a surprise, but because you said you love Splinter Cell that much, you get this awesome, sweet case. That's unbelievably huge. You can beat people upside the head with.
That's right. You are too kind. You are too kind. But yes, Splinter Cell Conviction is so freaking good. Like it's well. What's up?
You have to build a raft to get you across to that one. That's all you have to do.
Dude, you know what? Wait until after the show. I don't want to mess up.
You know what, guys? I am throwing in the towel tonight. You have derailed with Zelda. Zelda has been a big enough detractor to where even if I wanted to play it, I would never. So, all right, guys, this has been Loot Bros Podcast. Thank you, T. Diddy. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Kalai. Thank you, Joe. And thank you, Tricky, for coming on here, talking trash and talking games. Definitely enjoyed it. By the way, Joe, fun fact, when you went over there and crawled over to get your Battle of Wonderland, you could see the amount of butt sweat saturation going on.
It's pretty bad. It's just a swamp ass up in this.
10 out of 10.
Smell wonderful.
My man says he was hot. He wasn't joking.
7.8. Too much swamp ass.
Everybody smells what the Joe is cooking.
That's right. Guys, thank you all so much for coming on here and talking shop. Next month, all right, so as we progress into June, we have multiple interviews. Thank you, Joe, for setting these things up and scheduling them out. We will also be knocking out the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order game club. So that one I'm going to try to push towards the end of the month. I'm also going to have Macho Man, our good friend that came on a few weeks back. He's coming back on the show. We're going to be talking shop with him. And he and I are actually going to do something fun occasionally. We're going to kind of sprinkle them in between the different interviews we have for the next few months. We're going to do some Punisher reviews. We're going to talk Punisher. He came on the show and he talked a little bit of Punisher. And you guys know I love the freaking Punisher. But then he follows up that same week or the next week, gets on Thomas's show the Hunter Houston ESG podcast. And he freaking gets on there and you guys go in all this depth talking Punisher. So I'm over here playing games one night, right? Listening, you guys saw Punisher. And I'm like, God almighty, dude, I'm loving this. And then like the next day, the freaking actor for the Punisher Warzone movie passed away. It sucked. It major sucked. So what I did was I went and watched the movie. And then I reached out to Macho. I was like, Macho, let's have a conversation about this movie. Because he loves it. I think it's trash. I think it's got the best action sequences, but I think it's a terrible movie. But with that dude passing away, I was like, man, I gotta watch it. I gotta check it out. So definitely gonna have some cool stuff like that coming up. Obviously, it's the beginning of the month. You guys are getting ready to get a dump of content in the Patreon. One of the deep dives coming through is from Matt G. Tricky looks like he's having a stroke. Matt, you got pledged actually to play I Was Once a Teenage Exocolonist, or I Am a Teenage Exocolonist.
Close enough.
Very good. And so that will be dropping in the Patreon. Actually, when you hear this episode, that will already be live. And One Plat Zach finally finished the pledge game, and he is dropping a review for Streets of Rogue. So that's going to drop. So we're going to do 2 deep dives this month. Now, I am slowly working my way through Attack on Titan. I believe actually it gets removed from Netflix today. So I'm going to have to find another way to finish it. But so far, it's anime.
Wait, I didn't think you have Netflix.
I do not.
Okay.
Anyway.
You can read the manga, right?
I would die.
It's on Crunchyroll. It's on Hulu. So you got a couple options.
I don't know I know shit that's called Crunchyroll. Let's be real.
Could you imagine me? Bro, I can see his wives looking at the bank statement.
Hey,
what is it?
Meanwhile, looks at the bank statement.
Crunchyroll.
Daryl, what does Crunchyroll think?
It's like any Australian shows on there, Daryl.
Yeah. You got. Is that Love Island? Can I watch that Love Island? The cartoon Love Island on there? Oh my gosh, the trash she's watching right now, guys. Dude, we had a little bit of a reprieve. We watched I say we very loosely. It's mainly her. 4 seasons of Virgin River. Have you guys watched Virgin River before?
What the fuck is Virgin River?
It is like a Days of Our Lives, but for Netflix, but not as crappy. It's actually really, really good, and it's very clean.
You heard it here first. Daryl has grown a vagina.
Massive, the P word. But dude, it is actually not a bad show. She's watching it, and I'm over here playing, cool games. I'm killing stuff with zombies and all that stuff. And then I keep seeing it on the screen beside me. That's not too bad. It's a
Daryl has a vagina. Daryl has a vagina.
So anyway, so we went through about 4 seasons of that. And then now she's back on the super trash. Like whatever crap she's watching now, everyone was blindfolded last night. And they were sucking each other's faces. And then they had to rate their kisses. And like,
the heck?
I'm like, what the
How are you watching?
freaking trash?
Is that the one where they're like dating
sounds
their
like good-
sons
it
or
sounds like
something?
good
And like
Christian
they're all
television.
hooked up with their sons?
I don't think
Joe.
it's that bad.
Joe, you know what made me very sad this week?
End of Ted Lasso.
Yes.
I was very sad too.
It was a good
It
episode.
was very good.
I don't watch cowboy shows.
You're ridiculous.
All right, guys, this has been
Oh,
Luke.
God.
Guess we're out of here.
Patrick Hickey next week. Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
This is the way.
All right, guys, I am cutting in here to give you guys the update on the backlog beatdown and the leaderboards. So I want to definitely give a huge shout out to my team for the GTTSC trophy hunting competition we have right now. That is Gaz Davis and Red Beer Rick. Man, thank you guys so much for continuing to put it in. I want to give a special shout out and a slurp to Gaz for being on his anniversary trip. He was in Greece and he brought his Vita and he still managed to put in some points and helped keep us afloat. So thank you guys so much for all of that. This has been a very fun and intense competition. So just a little update on that so you guys kind of know what's going on. I'm recording this audio Monday morning. The show goes live here shortly. Tricky and I are doing a special segment that'll cut in. You may have already heard it. You may be hearing it soon. The nature of how I'm recording this, I'm just kind of, who knows. But that being said, we were ahead several hundred points in the competition and just kind of riding it out for the week, not using our bonuses. We're like, we're good. I'm watching Shazam 2, which sucks, by the way. Don't recommend that movie at all. And I look over and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're 305 points below the cutoff. We're going to get eliminated. And we've got 10,000 points worth of bonuses. Not really 10,000, but it's a bunch. And we didn't use them. And it was too late. I was like, oh crap. So I jump on, I start playing some games. In the last hour of the competition, I managed to go from negative 305 points to positive 143, which saved us for the week. Couldn't have done that if Gaz hadn't have been rocking it out on the Vita all week. And of course, Red Beer Rick always knocking out the, massive, big points. So definitely it's nothing that I did. I was just able to edge us over on the end. But the reason why I bring all that up is, guys, it was so freaking intense. I was sweating playing this pinball game. Like, my wife comes home and she's like, what are you doing? It's midnight. I'm like, I got 43 minutes in the cutoff and we're not going to lose. I can't let my team lose. And it was so intense. And I was so worked up when I finally got the points. I was like super excited. So, guys, if you have never participated in a trophy hunting competition, I know not everybody's into trophies. I know not everybody's into playing gaming in that capacity, and I don't recommend it for everybody. But I do want to say, if you've never participated in something like that, I highly recommend it. Here on the Loot Bros, we always do year-long events, and we do these. There's random things we've been doing since we started this show. And this particular trophy hunting competition is hosted by TrueTrophies.com, and it's a yearly event they do. I know they do a gamer score one as well for Xbox. I'm not sure if they're running at the same time this year. I'm not really into that ecosystem anymore. But I just want to encourage you guys. It's fun. Get in a team, get in a group, and play games with a little bit more of an objective. And it's a very interesting time. If in my opinion, it's a lot of fun. So this was definitely the highlight of the competition so far. Again, nothing that I did in particular, but the fact that it was down to the wire and I had an hour to do everything I could to get points to get across the board, that was super exciting. That was as close as it can feel to being in an actual sporting event while playing games in your office at 1 o'clock in the morning. So it was cool. Really good time. I'm still riding that high, but it's pretty exciting. So I'm going to cut in here real fast. I want to give you guys the updates on all of our community contests, competitions, things that we have going on. Starting with the backlog beatdown. So we got the backlog beatdown. We have I'm Silent on Your Bro, 123 points. Red Beer Rick, 114. JT, the commish, 67 points. Gareth Davis, 51 points. Yield with 47. Yield has passed me. Good job, Yield. I am sitting at 45 points. I was able to bust out the Control Platinum this week and the Titanfall 2 Platinum this week. Super proud of those. Diego, 43. We got Duplex with 38. We have Alex with 36. Sadek with 34. Trying Casual Games with 33. Good job, man. John Michaels, I'm super proud of you, dude. That's big for you, man. That's big stuff. CJ with 31. We have MZ with 26. Departed with 22. Kalai with 21. Jared with 20. We have James Lenner with 13. Dino Killer with 12. One Plat Zach with 8. We have Jim with 7. Noah the Builder with 4. He's getting ready to put some points on the board too, because he's got some stuff he's wrapping up. And we're both working on Minecraft Dungeons right now, so that might actually happen by the next time we record. We've got Sid with 3, Spider Pax with 3, and Haley Pickle with 2. Heading over to the True Trophies leaderboard. I'm in first place, 154 trophies. My last trophy was 10 millions in touchdown pinball. That is a pinball game with a American football theme. And it's actually a pretty interesting game. I kind of dig it. I've been playing a lot of these little pinball games. I really like them. They're fun. Next up, Red Beard Rick, 123 trophies, playing some Burnout Remastered. Next is MZ Nitro with 84 trophies, also playing Burnout Remastered. I think the guys had a big boost party this past weekend. So fourth place, Dat Wants a Goal, which is JT the Commish, playing some Star Wars Jedi Survivor. He's getting geared up for the Star Wars Game Club we're doing. We have fifth place, Gaz Davis 11 with Wanted Corp on Vita. See, my man, he got 54 trophies this week on his anniversary vacation in Greece on the Vita. Mad props to our boy Gareth. I'm actually going to shout out a few more random ones in here. We got the Affectatious Donk in 9th place with 39 points. That's the lowest numbers we've seen from CJ in a long time. We're proud of him. He's sticking it out, even though, and he saved some room for the rest of us. He let us have our time to shine. So we're definitely appreciate that. I also want to give a shout out to the Arkham Darrell. That's right. In 15th place, it's also me with 6 trophies. What's that, Darrell? How are you on the leaderboards twice? Well, I have a boost account. And my boosting account is someone that I play games with myself. I play with myself so that I can get trophies. And I've been working on the Injustice Gods Among Us Ultimate Edition Platinum. A very, very difficult platinum. 9 out of 10 on PSN profiles with a grind of 1 billion hours. I'm going for it. I've been going for it for years, but it's one of those that, like, the Star Labs and the challenges are going to keep me from getting it. And they're definitely keeping me from getting it quickly. It's a pain in the butt. But I'm working on it, and I knocked out some of the online trophies. I want to make sure that if the servers ever close, I still have everything I need. And I'm kind of chipping my way through those. So, yes, that's just a couple honorable mentions on there. And then heading over now to the True Achievements leaderboard, we've got Sony Pony to You, that's CJ, with 4,695 achievement points, playing some Star Trek Resurgence. Second place, I'm Styling on Your Bro with 3,640 achievement points, playing some Mechanic Simulator 2021. He can't run out of simulators. Like, by the time he 100%'s one, there's 5 more ready to go. Third place, GDI Master Ace with 335 achievement points, playing some Diablo 4. Fourth place, I Drop Roaches, former co-host of the show. That's my cousin Zach, playing some GoldenEye 007. Got him 100 points. Good job. And Sadek is in 5th place, playing some Diablo 4 with 100 points as well. So good job. This boy's tied. Very nice. I put out a call for the crew, for the Xbots to show up. Say, hey, show your love for Xbox. And let's get some points on the board, because you guys didn't even have a top 5 last week. And this week we've got 7. We got Dump Liquor is in 6th place with 80 points, playing some Cooking Simulator. And then in 7th place, One Plat Zach, the Bearded Nerd, with 10 points, playing Slay the Spire. 10 points. You tried. You tried. You played a game. And there's proof that you played for a minute or 2. So definitely appreciate all you guys. Appreciate your support. Again, at the time of recording this, not sure how this is going to fall into the show, because Tricky and I are coming back to do another special segment that will fall into the major point in conversation in this particular episode. So thank you guys so much. I'm going to go ahead and plug the Resident Darrell YouTube, guys. Help me out. Go check it out. Go give me some love. I've been posting a bunch of shorts on there. I'm going to have my long form videos coming back out as of this week as well. But I had a ton. I still have more off-camera pickups. And so what I was doing is I was just doing these little 1-minute recaps on my phone. It's like, man, I've picked up so much stuff that I wasn't expecting. I wasn't recording, or it was a environment that didn't necessarily allow me to record. And rather than do like these recap videos, which I can do, I just haven't been. Rather than do a recap video, it was like, hey guys, here's a pile of things I bought this week that I didn't film. Let's talk about them. I decided to try out, some shorts, a little 1-minute recap here and there. Had some killer pickups this week. And man, crazy stuff. So if you guys are listening to this show and you're like, man, what is this guy talking about? Go to YouTube. Resident Darrell is the channel name. And I post videos each and every week, going out hunting for video games, flipping stuff on the internet, trading stuff. We're collecting, we're selling, we're in it for all the good and the bad reasons. Go check us out over there. It's usually me and the kids. Since they're out of school, you'll get a lot more of the kids on there hunting with me. And I do want to pour one out, a nice little slurp. For our fallen homie, I have a 1 terabyte hard drive that died this weekend. God only knows how much footage I lost. Multiple videos gone. I'm going to try to salvage it, but it gave me the old blue screen error of doom and made my computer lock up. I had to restart my computer, and it's just sitting over here beside me looking dead and sad. So unfortunately, I have, like I said, 6, maybe 10 videos worth of content. I film, and then I kind of edit a video, put it out, edit a video or 2, have one in the can. And I've been doing these shorts. So I've been dropping 2 shorts a week since I haven't been doing long form videos. And I kind of got like, oh, well, work's really busy right now. Let me just kind of put the shorts out. I'll get back to the long form videos. I was editing one, and I had multiple kind of set up, and my hard drive is not working. So it's probably gone. I mean, realistically, we will see. I do have more footage, on my camera now on my memory card. So it is what it is. But I really hate that I missed some really cool videos. So I will definitely be trying to pump these out faster in the future. Thank you guys so much for checking it out.
Made. Why did you drop my name? To break your dream. I wonder if you can. Remember when you meant everything. Why did you drop my name? To break your dream. I wonder if you can. Remember when you meant everything. You carried on too far to break a dream. Remember when you meant everything.